Mondays.
Case of the Mondays?
Case of the Mondays. So, hey, welcome in. It's the SquadCast on a Monday. Sorry for throwing you off if you missed the memo, Katie. But, hey, we're here. We had a special episode. We couldn't pass up this opportunity. It is a Monday night. However, it is an off day for the Toronto Blue Jays. And, of course, I'm not going to bury the lead. Our special guest tonight is Ross Stripling. He's not with us yet. He's going to come on in about 15 to 20 minutes, so stay tuned for that. But that is why we're on a Monday. The Blue Jays have an off day. We wanted to strike hard and strike fast while he was available to join us live. Last time we had him on, we had to pre-record it. It was still great, but we missed that audience interaction. So we wanted to give that to you guys. So if you wait around, hang out for 15, 20 minutes, we're going to be bringing Ross onto the show. Super excited. He's going to be in Washington, D.C. with the Blue Jays on their road trip. So we're super happy that he's back for round 2 on the SquadCast. Max, welcome in. How are you doing on a Monday? Do you feel as weird as I do today?
You know what?
I am off.
It's a little off. It's a little bit different, but you know what? We're going to battle through it. We're going to persevere, and it's going to be just fine because, like you said, when you get an opportunity to speak to a current Major League pitcher, especially for our favorite ball club, that's what you do. You move the show a day, and like I said, guy's kind of a big deal. He's having a very good season on the IL right now, but we'll catch up with Ross and see what he's got to say about how he's feeling these days, and here's hoping he's feeling a good little postseason run for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, super excited for that. We have a lot of questions, and if you have any questions for Ross, of course, ask us anything, ask Ross anything, send in Hulk Hogan, ask us anything throughout the night. We will try to get your questions.
I feel like we're secondary to Ross, though.
Yeah.
You know,
send in your Ross questions, and if you have anything for us, we'll dabble. But yeah, definitely send in your questions as we go. We have a lot to talk about throughout the night, so we'll try to get to everything as much as we possibly can. Thank you. Of course, we are presented each and every night by our good friends Rox and Dar at Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. They present the show. They help us turn the lights on and off every night for sure. And Jordan and the boys in the back also appreciate them as well. If you need help with anything to do with your business in terms of maximizing the efficiency of your supply chain, anything you got going on that you need for your business, they can handle it for you. Roxanne and Darnell, they basically take all the headache away from running your operation and running your business. They can handle it all for you. Great customer service, great people. Happy anniversary to them. They're celebrating in Niagara Falls.
Very happy anniversary.
Very jealous. It looks like a great trip. And we're looking forward to having them back, maybe in the studio when they get back in the next little while. But Rockstar.com, you can check them out if you need help with your business. They are great people. Top of the order. We got to get right to it tonight. We're not messing around. We got a starting pitcher coming in, and you know how starting pitchers are with their routine. They got to everything is routinized.
Absolutely.
Timing is important, so let's do it.
7:22 on the dot.
Now, this is going to be a good one, Max, because first topic is for you, and I'm going to finish off.
For me.
I'm going to finish off my pregame prep. I got to get my pre-show stuff.
Sounds good.
Going.
How long do you need? How long do I got?
A couple minutes at least. I'm almost done, but I do have a couple things to do here. The Nashville Predators have finally inked UC Saros, their goaltender, to a 4-year deal, $5 million per deal, $20 million total. He was a Vezina. He got some Vezina consideration. He wasn't a finalist, but he was definitely up there in the conversation.
Totally got snubbed.
Some of the best gear in the league. I love the all yellow. Love it. Big
setup,
fan.
Hey?
Now, there's a lot of goalies being signed in the last little while, and we talked about this, I think, last week. Shesterkin in New York, Carter Hatt, and Ilya Samsonov in Washington. 3 goalies, 3 very different contracts, and great. I like this one because it's kind of right in the middle. And I told you this before the show. Now that I can talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is giving me Freddie Anderson vibes, because when they signed Freddie Anderson in Toronto, signed him, it was a 5-year, $5 million deal, and he was 26. Same deal with UC Saros. He's been a starter in the league. He's played some big games. And now they're kind of starting a new rebuild around him. Not a rebuild, a retool around him. And he's the centerpiece. Kind of how the Leafs did. You know, they were very young. They developed. They got to a winning team. Let's not talk about the rest. But Max, hit me with UC Saros. What's your take?
I tell you what, man, I absolutely love this deal, and this is my non-biased take of it. This is exactly what the Nashville Predators needed to do to finish up this offseason. As you alluded to earlier, Clark, it's been an aggressive retooling, a lot of transitory pieces moving out that had been with the organization a long time, and this was something I wrote about in my article for Predlines today. Go check that out if you haven't had a chance to as of yet, predlines.com. But either way, this was the official final step in the passing of the torch from Pekka Pekka Rinne, newly, freshly retired, to UC Saros, the 26-year-old fellow Finnish countryman netminder. What can I say about the guy? He literally saved the Nashville Predators season. They were literally 1 to 1.5% chance of making the playoffs, and UC decided, hey, we're going to throw the team on my back, going to earn a nice little contract extension in the offseason. He's deserving of every dollar, and I think being in a state where there is no state tax, that certainly helped in the final AAV of this a little bit. But with that being said, he gets a sizable raise, a very much heavily deserved raise. And with that being said, this is again, transitory period for the Nashville Predators where 4 years is going to be kind of a telltale sign of where this team goes. They just picked up some younger pieces. Cody Glass, obviously, from Vegas. Philippe Myers coming in for Ryan Ellis. There's, again, just a lot of moving parts with this team that don't necessarily know for sure what you're going to get, but one thing you know that you're going to get is UC Saros backstopping you every night and giving you a chance to win, as he's done for the last couple of seasons. Like you said, Clark, it's been that transition period where Saros has been gradually gaining more games every single season from Pekka Rinne as Pekka's aged out. And now it's his time to shine. 4 years, $20 million. This is exactly kind of right in the wheelhouse of where I was hoping this would end up. Hey, if they paid him north of 6, wouldn't have been upset with that either. He's traditionally had a little bit of slower starts. The Predators brass is banking on that not happening anymore anyways for the foreseeable future. But the other thing that you kind of have to take into account when you look at the term of the deal, 4 years, Yaroslav Askarov, 11th overall pick in 2020. A lot of people saying he potentially could be, knock on wood, the next Andrei Vasilevsky. So 4 years gives Saros that time to either solidify that that's going to be his crease for the entirety of his career, much like Pekka Rinne, exactly like Pekka Rinne, or again, 4 years to kind of tell the tale of maybe it's time to transition to Askarov, and we'll see what happens with Saros. But at the end of the day, fantastic netminder, highly underrated netminder across the entire NHL. But man, oh man, there's just been so many moments this year that I could point to where I say he is absolutely worth every single penny of the contract he just got.
$5 million in today's NHL is a great number for a starting goaltender.
Absolutely,
it gives you a little bit of flexibility for your backup, and they brought in Dave Riddick for not a big deal, but 1.5.
Saros is only taking up 6.18% of the cap this year. So
that's a great number.
Coming off career highs and wins with 21, a save percentage of 927 in a shortened season as well, with a bit of a slower start and an injury mixed in. This guy, again, he just put the team on his back when he needed to, and it was exactly what the Predators were hoping would happen. That's the other thing. Small in stature, plays anything
super
but.
athletic.
Oh, super athletic.
I had him on my TikTok channel, at Producer Clark. I had him rated as my 6th best goalie in the league.
I wonder where you got the intel from.
I had some help from the Predators insider. Now, let's move on. Teoscar Hernandez talking about the Blue Jays now. We got the Blue Jays jersey don in the set today for obvious reasons. Ross Stripling's joining us in a few minutes from the Blue Jays starting pitcher.
Don't know if you guys have heard.
You can bring that one back up, boys. Teoscar Hernandez named AL Player of the Week. Now, look at these numbers. Now, this is now, what, 3 weeks out of the last 4 or 3 in a row? The Blue Jays have had a Player of the Week. Springer twice, and now look at Teoscar. A 500 average, 893 slugging, 1.393 OPS, 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Unbelievable. And he's made a couple plays in the outfield as well. He's been donning that home run jacket a few times. And the Jays certain players are getting hot at the right time, and man, that lineup is just dangerous. You can't take it at bat off. And this is actually, to just complete side note from this, but has relative to this. We're talking about the senior men's baseball championship, provincial championship, was last weekend, and Marysburg was in the final. And I pitched against Marysburg in the provincials a few years ago. And totally different scenario, obviously different level, but every guy on that team can just hit. They're just hitters. And it was stressful because as a pitcher, you try to find little spots where you can maybe just try to get a few balls over for strikes, and you can maybe get an out. It's not possible with certain teams. And with the Blue Jays right now, it's kind of turning into a lineup where pitchers just don't get outs, like free outs. Every at-bat's going to be a difficult one. Every guy can hit.
It's not like Marysburg was facing Jose Barrios or anything, Clark. Let's be honest.
I'm just saying.
I hear you.
As a pitcher,
I like the analogy.
The mentality.
And you're absolutely correct, right? Especially when you got a guy like George Springer who unfortunately went down the other day with a sprained ankle. Here's hoping he's back shortly. And as hot as he was, like you said, it doesn't matter. Insert this name, insert that name. They're going to find a way to put the bat on the ball. And that's exactly what you need this time of year, especially when you're chasing a wild card spot or a division pennant, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to Teoscar, I texted you yesterday. I said, this team needs to rally around the play of Teoscar Hernandez right now, because he is doing anything except taking an at-bat off, taking a playoff in the outfield. This guy has turned into a legitimate star in this league, and we'll talk about a little bit later.
More in the Bluebird block later in the show.
Might be time to pay him.
He's been 3 for 4 in his last 2 games, and I actually saw a stat over his last 162 games, which is a normal regular season. Now, this has probably changed because this was before his last 3 for 4 games, so he's probably higher than this. He was batting .303 with 40 home runs and 128, I believe, RBIs.
Last time I checked, that's pretty good pace.
Full season. So,
pretty good pace.
That's big money numbers right there, Max.
Love to see it from Teo. Love to see it.
We'll tag him in a clip and see if he likes it again.
Easy guy to root for.
About a year ago, we said the guy should get paid, and now probably get paid a little bit more than that. Nick Nurse, head coach of the Toronto Raptors, is remaining as Canadian men's national basketball coach. This is big news as they've been gaining a lot of momentum in Canadian men's basketball, and Nick Nurse at the helm just leads to that much more confidence in the team. And I think if they can start getting some more of those NBA guys fully invested, there will be a dangerous program. I'm talking gold medal contention for years to come.
Spoke about continuity, right? Developing a program that has continuity, and that means from the player side, that means from upper level management, and obviously behind the bench with Nick Nurse, guy that is an NBA champion as of late of 2019. Again, perfect guy to represent this country and continue on the path of development to lead them to the next level and wherever Canadian basketball is going to go.
Absolutely. So, no, great.
We'll see if the boys from Hoop Life agree with that.
And I love his commitment. He's not a Canadian guy.
No.
And I don't believe he's Canadian, and he's really committing to this country, and I love that. Just the fact that he loves Toronto, he loves the team, and he's committing to the country. I'm pretty sure he's not. You going to confirm that for me?
I'll do a little confirming.
Let's switch topics.
You're right. He was born in Iowa.
Hey,
Iowa.
Speaking of Iowa.
What a great segue. We didn't plan that at all.
It's like a topic of dreams, you might say. Kind of just the segue of dreams.
Okay, we don't need to
MLB
stretch
Field of
all the
Dreams
way into right
games
field.
was this past week, and man, did it have some fireworks in it, quite literally. There was a great finish. It was the dramatic effect, the cinematic effect of it all. The Yankees, the White Sox, coming out of everything was just so magical, as we
almost like it was based off a movie.
Almost as if it was based off a magical movie, you might say. Kevin Costner was involved, and what a great finish. The White Sox ended up winning on a walk-off home run after there was a home run in the top of the 9th. Just unbelievable. Couldn't have asked for much of a better game. And I think everybody involved is pretty happy with it. You have any thoughts on that, Max?
I just know our good man Brian Snow was very, very happy with that result. Tim Anderson with a 3-run shot to end the ball game.
Love the old school scoreboard.
They had every detail perfect, right? I think Kevin Costner said it perfectly. This is perfect. You didn't need to put any more words to it.
They should have used old gloves and old bats. And all those things
wouldn't that have been something? Hey, oh boy.
One thing that was kind of the hot topic of the day and of the week is that they're planning on doing it again next year.
Hey.
And we were going to have a debate on which team should be involved.
Well, we did.
And then literally
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we talked about it for 20 minutes. We were going over rivalries. Should it be interleague play? Maybe the Red Sox could play the Dodgers.
We had everything but the starting pitchers lined up.
Yeah, pretty much. We were talking about different things, and they come out 10 minutes before the show starts, and it's the Cubs and the Reds. So it's
so cool.
It's determined. Very cool. We actually talked about both teams.
We did.
We wanted it. We thought, it's a field of dreams.
Pretty sure that was the one scenario we didn't say.
Yeah, I think so. But the two combinations. You said the Reds.
Yeah.
We both said the Cubs. But I thought, these teams that are involved should be the old traditional franchises. It seems weird if it's like the Rays and the Marlins, for example.
Fit with the historical narrative, have the vintage jerseys, have the nostalgic
both
feel.
Midwestern teams too. We talked about that.
Maybe have a celebrity game beforehand with the old gear. That'd be kind of fun.
Bring back some old players. Yeah. Maybe an all-star celebrity game. I'm loving it.
Kevin Costner looks like he could still swing a bat.
He can probably throw a ball.
Or he's good for a game of catch.
Yeah, just a game of catch. Let's go to the CFL now. We're going to keep rolling here. The CFL. The Riders stomped the Ticats in a 30-8 defeat. And it was
Cover
a great
the spread
game.
that game.
Cover the spread. Yeah, they heard your rant, Max. They shut her down. So it came off to a good start. It was a bit slow, 7-1, I think, in the first quarter. Cody Fajardo scrambled for a great touchdown right in front of me. It was right in front of our spot where we sit. And then, kind of just slowly built the lead over the game, and then they just shut it down completely. Hamilton switched quarterbacks in the second half. Dane Evans came in, could get no momentum at all, no rhythm. They were missing long passes. They were dumping short passes, but it wasn't going anywhere. They couldn't get a run game going. Defense played great. Saskatchewan's offensive line, full of a lot of rookies, played really well. and they scored when they needed to score. And John Ryan, for the record, was my player of the game. John Ryan, former Seattle Seahawks, great Super Bowl champion. He was absolutely electric, and I know he's a punter, and that sounds weird, but every punt was huge.
Important, man.
And they won the field position game hands down. And I know Hamilton's special teams coach is Jeff Reinbold, friend of the show, upstairs at the Rod Peterson show, and he's a very good special teams coach. John Ryan crushed them in terms of special team. And I know punters are people too, guys. Okay, I just want to check the comments here really quick. Let's see what's going on. My dad, your dad as well, your adopted dad, he says $5 million. That's a bargain for the Predators.
Absolutely.
Janelle Barkman says Max is being a non-biased Predators fan. Sure.
I know, right? First time for everything.
Gregory Lee, do you guys think Eichel will get traded before the season starts? That's a show on its own, Gregory. I'd love it to happen. We're gonna.
Kevin Adams is the worst showman in sports. Only Kevin Adams can hype something up so much and let it crash and burn within a matter of weeks.
Crazy.
He just
Director Jordan just got a report from our friend Ross Stripling. He says he's on, but he can't hear. So I'm going to let Jordan freak out about that for the next couple of minutes.
Good stuff.
Ross, we'll get you sorted out. Hopefully, you probably can't hear this. Anyways, we got a bunch of people checking in. If you guys are watching on Facebook, please like and share the episode, please. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
If you're watching on Twitter, hit that retweet button. If you're watching on YouTube, do all the things. I don't know, share the URL feed somewhere. I don't know, share the link.
I don't know.
Sure.
Whatever it is.
Comment away. Anyways,
share
either
the
way.
bat signal that says the SquadCast is on right now, wherever you can. Just
Wherever
if you have
can.
the technology.
If you don't mind.
That's all we're asking. Pretty
if you're
simple,
okay with that, that'd be great.
Might have some
last
mixed
couple
signals.
topics. This is a quick one here. Matthew Joseph of the Tampa Bay Lightning, his day with the Stanley Cup. He's the most Canadian day with the Stanley Cup ever. He's got the poutine. They poured the gravy over it on a video. Unbelievable. Max, if you could eat anything out of the cup, what would you eat?
I don't know if you do it any better than that because poutine is
pretty-
it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It just is. Enjoyed a nice one out at Long Creek Golf Course the other day. No free ads, but it's just an excellent dish served out of a bowl, served out of a plate, whatever. It don't matter.
Depending on the day, I might do like a fettuccine Alfredo type deal with some steak in there.
Little Michael
wild
Scott
mushroom.
to a 5K run after.
Ooh, yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, if you're just eating and having a good time with some friends and family, I don't know if you do
Maybe
it any
fill
better.
it up with some barbecue, like ribs, wings, maybe some ribs.
But it's got to be something that just kind of fits the texture of
cereal
inside of a bowl. Like,
maybe a big bowl of cereal.
I feel like that's been done plenty of times.
think
That was
so.
fairly original. I
Yeah.
feel like that hasn't been done before. At least I haven't seen it anyways.
We should get Phil Pritchard on the show. Keeper of the cup.
I was going to say
I'm
Phil
sure
would
he has.
know.
I'm sure he has a list.
Phil would know.
Last one, NFL preseason underway, which brings up our poll question today over on our Twitter account. When do you start caring about the NFL season? Do you have the poll open by chance?
I do not have the poll open by chance.
I'll pull it up. I think I have our
really
page.
don't.
I'll pull it up. So when do you start caring about the NFL? Is it when your fantasy team gets picked? Is it the minute preseason begins, the first game, you're into it? Is it regular season kickoff, which is 42% of the vote? Or NFL, CFL season? But what are we talking about here? That actually is the second leading vote. So
there you go.
Shout out to
I
Canada.
don't know if you can tell. I'm kind of pumped.
Shout out to
I don't
Canada.
know. I'm looking forward to the Rams this year. Things are looking good. They lost in their preseason opener to the Chargers, but nice little brawl in the stands. Things were looking a little hostile between.
There was a brawl in the Ryder game too.
Look at that. Hey, football. It just brings
yeah.
out the aggressiveness for some strange reason.
It's
I don't
one
understand.
of it's that time of year.
I don't know.
guys.
I'm pumped. The Rams are going to just do it this year.
Later on in the show, just as a preview, our good buddy Myron, Roan Diggs on TikTok, go follow him, Roan Diggs. He suggested that we do an all-time fictional movie hockey character. Let me do that again. All-time hockey movie, fictional character draft. So we have to create a lineup later in the show, probably for our Great Western Nightcap.
That might be it.
Where we pick a lineup, forwards, defenseman, goalie, of fictional hockey movie characters. I think I got that. Can be TV characters, can be anything, as long as they're not real people.
We got to do coaches too.
Ooh, let's pick coaches. I'm in.
Gee, I wonder who's going to be the number one pick there.
I'm going to go with my boy Kim Coates from Goon.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
He's my boy.
Good stuff.
Kim Coates. Proud Sasky boy.
Proud Sasky boy.
The top of the order today was brought to you by Hoop Life Basketball. Do you guys, before we do this, can you knock 3 times if you think we're good for Ross? 3
I heard
knocks.
3.
They got 3 knocks.
3 knocks. It's like Teoscar the other night.
Yeah, 3 knocks.
3 knocks.
There you go.
Good stuff.
Our top of the order, of course, is brought to you by Hoop Life Basketball. Head to your app store today and download their easy-to-use training app. It has all the programs they use on the app itself. You can actually do online training with one of their trainers. Pretty sick. The technology those guys have. They have a lot of good stuff going on. They just announced a competitive league for kids grade 3 to 8. And I said, did you see my comment on their thing on Instagram?
Yeah, might have.
Can a 30-year-old who hasn't played basketball join the league? Who hasn't played competitive basketball since grade 3 to 8 join the league and play?
It's a fair question.
They told me no.
Sure, if you pay the entrance fee.
They told me no.
No?
Maybe we can get some gear, though. That looks like good gear.
Oh, yeah. I take a jersey and some reversible shorts.
Yeah, use promo code
Hell yeah.
SQUAD10 for 10% off all of their apparel, which is unbelievable. All their camps, all their sessions. And I don't know, maybe it covers the league, too. We should get in on that and just make sure.
We'll have to double check in our
League
sponsorship agreement.
I don't know about that.
Agreement.
But, hey, anything else? HoopLifeBasketball.com. SQUAD10, 10% off.
Yes, sir.
We're going to hit a break. Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Ross Stripling joins us in about 3 minutes. See you in a bit.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. IKS Live, the proud producer of The Rod Peterson Show and The Recovery Hour. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
All right, we are back. And big news, we just saw it on Twitter just seconds ago. Joey Votto, Canadian baseball legend, first baseman for the Cincinnati Reds, hit his 2,000th hit today. 2,000 hits.
That's good
for
stuff.
Joey Votto.
That's a milestone for a good guy.
He is an Ontario boy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Etobicoke, we
Etobicoke?
discussed this.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me.
Once or three times.
Joey Votto, great baseball player, Joey Votto. We're going to go right into it right now. Our next guest is making a second appearance. Hold on, just bring him up, guys. I got to butter him up a little bit.
Of course.
His second appearance in the show, and since we saw him last, since he's been on the show, he's been a little busy. pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays, of course. In 16 appearances, he's put up a 5-4 record, a 3.86 ERA, and 74 strikeouts, Max, in 77 innings.
Good numbers right there, Ross.
Every 5 days, Max texts me and says, "Another good day for Ross."
I know. It's been a common
Ross
theme.
has been
Love
doing
to see
good.
it.
We appreciate him. He's plus since last time we saw him, he's picked up his World Series ring from the LA Dodgers.
Cool,
So
those are nice.
not too bad. And he joins us tonight from the District of Columbia. Let's bring him in now. Ross Stripling. Ross, how are you doing right now, my man?
What's up, guys?
Oh, not
Good
too
to be
much.
back. Doing a lot better since the last time I was with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now we'll talk about maybe your IL stint in a second. But Ross, thanks for joining us, of course. How is Washington right now? What's going on in Washington?
Well, it's a little rainy right now. I also have a major echo coming through, so I might get kind of confused.
Speech
and hear
jamming
myself
yourself?
in my own head here.
They'll fix it for you in a second. If you
Okay,
just
good
keep
deal.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rainy, so wasn't able to get outside as much as we wanted today, but was able to go to the field and do some rehab stuff and get better. So I'm turning in the right direction. There we go. Echo gone. That's a huge help. Thank you. And yeah, man. So, 2 big games here that we need to win and then head back to Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into the real baseball talk, and we want to talk to you about your rehab, we want to talk to you about your last few starts. We'll get into that. Last week, me and Max did a all-time baseball movie draft, and it caught a little heat because some of our picks weren't some of other people's picks. I'll just say that. But Max's first pick was Bull Durham. I had the second overall pick. I picked Moneyball. It's my go-to movie. I love seeing both sides of baseball, and I just think I love that movie. If you had top 3, if you just throw a few movies at us, what are some of your top 3 baseball movies?
Man, those 2 are in there for sure. Moneyball, I feel like, it's still somewhat of a new movie where maybe it hasn't had enough time to like soak in as being as good of a baseball movie as it really is. I mean, it's just kind of Brad Pitt beating a superstar and kind of diving into analytics, but making it easy for everyone to understand, similar to like The Big Short, what they did with the, the housing market thing that went down. I love Major League. I think that baseball, when you can make it fun, I think is awesome. And Major League, obviously a comedy mixed in with some good baseball scenes. And then For the Love of the Game as a pitcher, I think is just a classic. I mean, Kevin Costner, really put him on the screen. I mean, we saw it with the game in, the other day. Why am I blanking on what they called it?
Field of Dreams.
Terrible.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, the Field of Dreams game.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams. That's in the top 3. Okay, there you go. So mine would be the 2 you named in Field of Dreams.
Perfect. So hot take, you said For the Love of the Game. Neither of us picked For the Love of the Game in our top 10. We had 10 picks. Neither of us
Really?
picked it. So I don't know.
Whoa.
Maybe we're out to lunch. See, maybe it's an era thing though. Generation, like Max is a little younger than you and I are. Ross, we're about the same age. But yeah, no, it's. I never got into For the Love of the Game. I don't know. I picked.
I don't know if I can name 10 movies before I got to For the Love of the Game. Is there?
We'll tell you a few movies.
I can name like 5.
Yeah, we had The Sandlot. I put Hardball in mine with Keanu Reeves.
Hardball.
That's a
Angels
go-to
in the
of mine.
Outfield.
The Rookie of the Year, where he breaks his arm and he pitches really fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's the one where he's the GM of the Twins?
Little Big League.
Little Big League.
Little
Yeah,
Big
there's
League,
another
yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, so many.
Baseball, definitely one of the best genres in terms of all sports to choose from. Though.
A League of Their Own.
classics.
A League of Their Own with the women's
Oh,
league.
of course, yeah. Tom
Hanks.
Hanks,
Yeah.
Jimmy Dugan.
There's a good mix of like ones for younger kids, right? Like The Sandlot and Rookie of the Year, but then like Moneyball, which is obviously tailored more to just like moviegoers. It's entertainment, but it happens to be about baseball. So yeah, baseball is the perfect genre. You're right.
All right, we're scrapping the rest of the interview. We're just going to talk baseball. No, actually, Max, you had one.
Well, I
here.
was just going to say the most ironic thing about Moneyball is Brad Pitt's salary is probably more than 2002 Oakland A's salary
combined.
payroll
For
as
the
a whole.
movie,
So
yeah.
either way,
Yeah.
obviously you touched on Field of Dreams, Ross. I mean, I'm sure maybe you caught some highlights. Obviously, you've been busy lately, but how do you think Major League Baseball overall executed that event? Do you think it was something that the game needed to kind of go into that pop culture reference, honor an anniversary? What did you think overall of the event being in the league?
I feel like we got to be pumped about how it went, right? I feel like it couldn't have come together better than what it did. If anything, I'm glad I didn't pitch in it. It looked like the ball was flying. The ball just flying into the cornfields like crazy. But I mean, just like Kevin Costner walking out of the corn and then the players funneling out of it after that, and like to the music of the Field of Dreams, and just how cool. I mean, that gave me chills watching that. And then it was an awesome game, right? I mean, to get kind of lucky about how amazing of a game it was for the Yankees to take the lead and then the White Sox to walk it off, I think is that it came together perfect. And as far as how we felt as players, like watching it in the locker room, I mean, we loved it, and we're glad to hear it's back for next year. I mean, I just think that kind of what you touched on, it was something that our game needed right now, kind of a little highlight. I mean, they said it was the most watched game that we've had in years, and rightfully so. I mean, it was really well put together, and I think we're proud of it all around.
And I think for scoreboard watching purposes, probably happy that the Yankees came out of the wrong side of it, I'm sure.
100%.
Absolutely. So, Ross, let's get to you now. Last time the Jays fans saw you on the mound, didn't last very long. You exited the game a little early with some abdominal stuff going on. I don't know how much you can tell us, but if you don't mind, talk about how that's going, and do you have a timeline? How's that going?
Sure, yeah. So it's an oblique, got an MRI, the whole thing, and, kind of call it a 1+. So definitely a grade 1 strain, but not as bad as a grade 2. Typically, what stinks about things like this is a forearm and an oblique are kind of similar in that you can't push through it. You got to wait till it's healed. And you don't really realize how much you use an oblique until it hurts, until you're getting out of bed, until you're sitting in a car or whatever. I mean, you just use that muscle constantly. So it just needs a couple days to rest. And the worst part about it is every day that you take off from throwing. So let's say I end up going 7-10 days without throwing, which I haven't played catch yet. And I think today was day 6. So let's say we go 10 days. That's 10 days that you add on the back end of having to build back up. And all of a sudden you're out 20 days, and that kind of stinks because it takes a while to get back to throwing, get off the mound, face some hitters, and you're ready for a big league game. And that just takes time. So, feeling better every day, certainly much better today than where I was just 4 or 5 days ago. But, need to start playing catch again and all that before I'm, really a viable option to get back on the mound. I think we're probably looking at a 3 or 4 week thing.
Gotcha. Well, I know the Blue Jays fans across the board wish you a speedy recovery, Ross. And again, good news that it's getting better day by day. That's all we can ask for. And again, for yourself as well, building some great momentum over, like Clark said, the last 16 starts. It's been absolutely incredible to watch you go every 5 days. But I guess on a bit more of a positive note, you got the ball the first day back at Rogers Centre, 670 days plus away from home for the Toronto Blue Jays. Your first experience pitching in Blue Jays blue in that game. Can you just describe the atmosphere of what it was like to, again, contribute in a huge win on that special day back in Toronto?
Of course, yeah. I mean, that'll always be in the top 2 or 3 things that I mentioned in my career. Let's say I go on to win other World Series or make All-Star games or throw no-hitter or whatever. I mean, that'll always be in the top couple things that I've ever been able to do on a baseball field. I mean, I had such a cool vantage point because I was pitching that game. So I was kind of like warming up in left field. I was in the bullpen. I was getting hot. So I kind of got to watch it as a fan, which was a really cool experience, and being kind of almost in the crowd because I'm right there next to those people and could feel how emotional it was for them. I could feel it in myself. I mean, I was getting the chills watching, during the anthems, and watching my teammates walk out there. And, it was such a long time coming, man. 670 days without baseball in the Rogers Center. And then for me to fall on the day and get the ball. And it's been a long time since I've wanted an outing to go well as badly as I wanted that one to go well. And luckily was able to get through 5, end up getting the win, give us a chance to win. Our offense did well. And, Jordan Romano, a Canadian native, gets to get the last out of the first game in the Rogers Center in almost 2 years. I mean, it was perfect. And to say that I got to get the ball on that day, I think is, like I keep saying, I mean, it'll go down as, one of the first few things that I mentioned in my career when it's over.
Yeah, speaking of Jordan Romano, the other day strikes out Shohei Ohtani to win the game. He's having a good little run himself, Jordan Romano. Now, from our friend Craig Ballard, you talk about pitching in the Rogers Center. So Craig Ballard, he's a big Blue Jays TikTok analyst, Ross. If you haven't followed him already, you should. Craig Ballard's awesome. He says, you're 2-0 at Rogers Center this season. And in 17, he's very numbers-based. In 17.1 innings at Rogers Center, you've only allowed 3 runs on 8 hits. So now Rogers Center is traditionally, I'm trying to do this as best as in my Craig Ballard impersonation. Rogers Center is traditionally a hitter's ballpark. So what makes you so successful at Rogers Center? Is it a vibe? Like what is it about Rogers Center that, or is it just coincidence?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's probably somewhere in the middle, right? Only 17 innings. That's not a huge sample size by any means. I got to pitch there on Mother's Day early in my career. In 2016, I was a rookie. My mother's a breast cancer survivor, and that was my first Mother's Day in the big leagues. So certainly motivated for that game, got the win. And then, this series back in the Rogers Center, I mean, we were all pumped up. I feel like as the starting rotation, we all pitched really well back home. And that's a mixture of all being really fired up to be back and having a true home field advantage, having 15,000 fans rooting for us, which we haven't had in a long time. And then two, actually the park is playing pretty big. I think with the roof open, if you're trying to hit it gap, center field gap, basically between the gaps, it was playing really big. I mean, we had I feel like Vladdy hit a ball that is a homer, no doubt, and it would get caught like on the warning track, So I think there's a mixture of a little bit of that. Probably gave up some hard hit balls that stayed in the yard that weren't staying in Dunedin or Buffalo, which were just as hitter friendly as they could possibly be. But I think really as a Blue Jay, when you're wearing a Blue Jay uniform pitching the Rogers Center, first time in 2 years, I mean, you're just automatically pumped up. So I think just off to a good start there as a team. I mean, we went 9-2 on that homestand. So I think that's what you're seeing.
So last time we talked to you, Ross, you were in Atlanta. It was a few days before your start in Atlanta. And you had mentioned that you were focusing on making a little change in your delivery. You're adjusting a couple of things. And since then, I mean, and I think you're okay with me saying this, but outside of a couple starts against the Red Sox, I mean, since then, a lot of quality starts, and kudos to you for doing that. But what was it that you focused on early in the year that really helped you kind of get into your stride?
Sure. This has probably been overkill for some of the people that have heard me talk about it. So I'll try and kind of give you the cliff notes. I used to be a guy that would raise my hands. When I lifted my leg, my hands would come up. And I started, for one, getting all out of whack, right, out of timing, because I was being very inconsistent with where I was taking my hands. And I was also tipping pitches. I was coming like here on fastball and here on curveball. And you're talking about giving the best hitters in the world a really good idea of what's coming. And, you just can't do that. So got with Pete Walker, and we talked about keeping my hands down by my waist. And honestly, man, we saw instant results. I think against that start in Atlanta, I think that was maybe my second to last one doing my old hands. And then I got shelled by the Red Sox, and then we made a switch. And I came in relief after an opener, and I threw 7 scoreless against Tampa, basically just changing the hands. And we thought we were going to have to do like a major reboot. And all it was changing some hands. And automatically it made my timing better. I wasn't tipping pitches. And I think from there I was able to, kind of take off. Really, man, I was pitching with no confidence. Like the last time you guys talked to me, I might have come across like I was confident, but I wasn't. I was really struggling and really, starting to say like, man, can I get out to this level anymore? What's going on? I feel like I'm throwing the ball well and I can't hardly get through a couple innings. Just hard contact left and right, and basically switched up where my hands are. And all of a sudden, better timing, better results, everything feels better, crisper. Now I'm pitching with confidence, and that's half the battle. And I think that's what you've seen over the last 15, 16 starts that you talked about.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. And, it's amazing how small little things when you're a pitcher, maybe it's just a small little adjustment, but it's that little difference that can make all the difference, truly. I remember growing up when I was in junior college, my pitching coach, I'd never had a pitching coach, and he said, you need to activate your legs more. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you need to push off with your legs more and activate your legs more. Instantly gained like 4 miles an hour on my fastball. Like unbelievable. A small little change, and that's all it took. Max, you had a question here.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, that's great to hear the confidence is returned, Ross, and I think I can speak for both Clark and myself that obviously not playing the game at nearly the level that you've achieved in your life. Again, confidence is when it's between the years, that's the hardest thing to overcome, and that's great to see that you've built some since that time. But kind of returning, I guess, to the team aspect a little bit. Obviously, it was a fairly busy trade deadline for the Blue Jays and picking up a number of pieces all over the field, right? Corey Dickerson, Jose Barrios, Joaquim Soria, a number of names. And I guess, what does that say to you guys in the clubhouse when you've got a front office as active as Ross and Mark were, especially knowing that you need to win a few extra games down the stretch here?
Yeah, I think it gives us all the confidence in the world, right? I mean, we didn't feel like we were out of it by any means. And so for the front office to reiterate that only builds us up even more, right? And you go get a guy like Joe Barrios. I call him Joe Barries, so I know his name is Jose Barrios, but that's totally stuck in my head now. It's Joe Barries. To go get him, and we have him next year, and to get the guys that we had already gotten in the bullpen before, Simber and Richards, and then you add a Soria, and then you add a good lefty bat in Dickerson, and, feel like we can compete with anyone. I mean, we're a confident team, and understanding that the AL East is probably the hardest division in baseball by far. No shot to the NL West, but I mean, the AL East is a gauntlet, man. And to, feel like we were maybe 1 year away, competing this year, but maybe 1 year away, maybe next year's our year. But for the front office to kind of cement it in, saying like, no, we're in the hunt this year. Let's go for it. Look at these pieces we've added. I feel like, and now we're back in Toronto, right? Now we're back home. Like, I mean, there's just like a culmination of two awesome things there: new faces, new blood, and being back in Toronto. And you saw that on the field. I mean, like I said, we went 9-2 in that homestand. So, we're in the hunt, understanding that we're not having a great road trip right now. We would have liked to, won more than one game in Seattle for sure, a team that's kind of right on our coattails for the wild card. But, understand that we have the talent to get hot. Like, I feel like we haven't really gone on a major run. I mean, 9-2 in that homestand is great, but we haven't really rattled off like a 10-game win streak. And we have too much talent to not do that. So maybe it's still ahead of us.
And another acquisition, Malik Smith, just today, I guess, after the waiver deadline, of course. So I don't think he's eligible for playoffs or however that works, but another pickup too, just adding to the flexibility and options that the team has right now. But since the trade deadline, you talked about Joe Barry's. So he's added to your starting rotation. It's pushed you guys into a 6-man rotation. So how much of a difference does that make? Did that change your planning? Does that change, your routine? How does that change everything for everybody involved?
Well, sure. Me getting hurt kind of takes that decision out of their hands. Right now, you just slot Mats in as that 5th guy, and that decision was never had to be made. Whether they never gave me any kind of update on what they were thinking moving forward. Obviously, I have plenty of experience in the bullpen coming from Los Angeles and even last year with the Blue Jays. So it probably made sense that was going to be moving into the bullpen. But, as far as what it changes everything. And not to get too long-winded, but it's a totally separate routine, whether you're starting or you're relieving. And I think that's why I've been able to have success in both, is you can kind of compartmentalize it, right? Like, when I'm a starter, this is my routine. This is what I do. This is how I get ready. And then if I get moved to the bullpen, boom, it's a 180. And now this is my routine. And it's kind of two separate things I was able to find that kept me fresh, kept me healthy, and kept me feeling like I could have success in whichever role I'm in. And I think, some guys get bogged down by that, by switching back and forth and the unknown and the difference it really is between the two roles. And I think if you are able to kind of flip a switch and say, like, okay, this is now my role. This is what I do. I think gives you a better chance to have success rather than kind of letting it weigh on you and being like, man, I just got demoted to the bullpen. Like, you can't look at it that way. You got to look at it as I'm still in the big leagues and I'm on a team that's in the hunt and they're going to give me the ball and I'm going to help a team win. I mean, that's how you have to look at it.
So 3 weeks in a row, I don't think this has ever happened in franchise history necessarily, but George Springer, Teoscar Hernandez get Player of the Week for the AL. Let's look at George, but Teoscar too. I mean, both those guys. But George Springer coming back and getting hot the way he has recently. Teoscar just being consistently productive, and then all the other guys. I mean, that's got to be a pretty fun lineup to pitch in front of, or just watch when you're not pitching on certain days. Like the home run jacket, there's a lot of energy right now. Can you just explain the excitement of that offense that you guys have?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it speaks for itself, but it's just relentless. I mean, we sit as pitchers in the dugout and just think like, man, what would we do if this lineup was in front of us and we had to navigate through it, and really there's maybe only a couple of them in the big leagues that can even compete with us. If you think about like the Angels when they're healthy, the Padres, the Dodgers, and that's really kind of it. I mean, as far as like a first 5 or 6 hitters, I mean, it is a gauntlet to get through. It's like, man, if I can just get through George to Teo and only give up 1 run, that's a win. I mean, that is a win every day because, I mean, you're facing George, Vladdy, Teo, Bo Bichette, and who am I missing? Someone else that's a stud. I don't know why I can't think of it. I mean, it's just...
I was going to say, Reese McGuire in the 9 holes.
Marcus Semien.
Marcus Semien. Yeah.
Who's like 3rd in MVP voting right now and like 2nd in WAR, 3rd in WAR. I mean, it's relentless. And we show it at times. I think we probably wish we could be more consistent, really as a team, be more consistent. But like when our lineup shows up and they're working at bats and hitting with power like they've shown, I mean, it's incredible to watch and fun to watch. And we're putting on the jacket and we're hitting homers. I mean, George hit that 3-run homer to beat Boston that last game in Toronto was just incredible, and it's just fun to watch every night. So certainly happy that I'm in a Blue Jays uniform and not having to throw to these guys.
Speaking of fun, I have a question. This is from Cal the Jays fan on TikTok. Right. Okay, I had to get this in. I put out a thing if anyone wanted to ask questions. He says, ask him if Vladdy acts as much like a kid as we see him on TV. Does he act like a kid all the time? I mean, he's not that old.
Yeah, Man, he's like a perfect combination. He is a kid, really, which is crazy to think about. But he's also so mature for his age. And you could throw like Kevin and Bo in that same realm where they kind of grow up around the game. So you grow up with so much feel, how to act in a locker room and how to get ready for a 162 game. You learn it from your dad. I mean, multiple Hall of Famers as their dads. I mean, that's crazy. But then I think about last night, we land here in D.C. It's like 2 a.m. It's a 45-minute drive. And I hear him in the back and he's singing, I believe I can fly, like just out of nowhere. He's just singing that. And we're just like, yeah, Vladdy, So he is a kid and he always has a smile on his face. And obviously he has the weight of his shoulders on him right now. He's going for an MVP. He's having, such a great year, but he just always has a smile on his face and he plays every day. We've moved him to first base and he's handled it like a champ. I mean, he's I was so kind of blessed to play with some of the guys in the Dodgers locker room that I played with. And now I've transitioned to this Blue Jays locker room, and it's like a whole nother group of guys where in 30 years I'll be talking to my grandkids saying I played with Vladdy Jr. I mean, it's awesome, and it's cool to get to be with them every day in the dugout in the locker room.
Yeah, 100%, Ross. And I know that we enjoy watching it on TV as much as it must be enjoyable to see it from a bird's eye view anyways, just being in the clubhouse and on flights and buses. I can only imagine how awesome it is in that environment. But I got to ask you this anyways. This is something that, at least since the last time we talked, I had to dive right into your podcast. Goats on the Bump has been a lot of fun as far as a listener is concerned. I wrapped it up with Trent Thornton talking about Roy Halladay. May he rest in peace. Yeah. But I'm wanting to know, is there plans for a season 2 this offseason? I feel like, again, you've got a fan in me that's going to listen avidly. Again, don't know how much you can maybe divulge if there's some things in the hopper, but really hoping that there's a season 2 in the works, if you can go into that a little bit.
I really loved that podcast, man. I had a ton of fun recording those. That's kind of what we talk about in the dugout and in the bullpen. So it's kind of giving, fans insight into what our conversations are like. It's like, man, Trent, you loved Roy Halladay. Like, what did you love about him? And then you just like kind of do a deep dive into how amazing he was and how this game kind of moves on. And it's easy to forget about how incredible some of these guys were just, 10, 15 years ago. And, to answer your question, as of now, no, there's not a second season in the works. I wish there was. We kind of wanted to pivot maybe into hitting. Mm-hmm. I am not very well versed in hitting. I've had 3 at-bats this year, and I don't think I've gotten the ball past the pitcher yet. So, I think in a perfect world, we could find a hitter that could have those conversations about past greats and kind of keep the GOATS podcast going. But, I think as far as the pitchers talking pitching, I kind of exhausted my network of who I could get and who I could talk about. So it would take a lot of work to find another 10 episodes to put together, but hopefully someday we can do it. It's just not in the works right now.
For sure.
So Ross, last time we had you on, you mentioned you primarily grew up in Texas. Now we're up in Canada. We don't get down to Texas all the time. So a few things we know about Texas up here, at least the stereotypes, let's say. You love barbecue. You love country music. And live events, I heard it's the live event capital of the USA or something like that. And most of all, I would say, at least from our stereotypes up here, high school football and college football. So for someone, our high school football is not very big here. No. For somebody who hasn't been to a Texas high school football game, is it like they show in all the shows, like the Friday Night Lights? Is it like that truly in Texas?
Yeah, it's like the opening words of both Varsity Blues and Remember the Titans is like, in Texas, football is a way of life, or whatever it says. And like, it's so true, man. It really is. And, 2 quick stories. We played in 2007, my junior year, we played a school called Trinity, which no one knows, but we were number 1 in the state and they were number 3 in the state. And we filled Cowboy Stadium, 42,000 people in like a playoff game. I mean, it was absolutely insane. And then the other part of it that's crazy is if you want, football just kind of trumps everything. So if you wanted to play football, you had to do off-season football, which happens during baseball season. So I did not play varsity baseball until my senior year of high school, because football trumped everything. And I wasn't even good at football. My friends played football and I enjoyed it. And, if you have a chance to play for a program that was as good as ours, it was South Lake Carroll in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We won state like 4 out of 6 years from my 8th grade to my senior year. So not only was it such a big deal, we were also winning. So it just felt even that much bigger. But, long story short, I didn't play baseball until I was a senior in high school because football trumped everything. So yeah, that stereotype is spot on. Also, the other one, I rode my horse to school every day, so that I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
Well, you had me.
Some people ask me
Well, that's
that.
all right. We pulled out of our igloos too. So
Well, here's the thing. A
Yeah.
lot of people around our parts, they drive their snowmobiles to school, and that's real. I'm not kidding. A lot
Pulling
of
it out
of
snowmobiles.
there,
Yeah, that happens here. So rattle off your stats. What were your football stats? What kind of football player were you?
Not good.
Oh.
Not good. Especially once I grew. So when I was shorter, I was quicker, kind of could play the slot like a Wes Welker, and then
you're
I
a receiver.
grew.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a receiver. And then when I grew, I was a baby giraffe. I was like 6'2", 165 pounds, and just had no business being out there. And that's when I was like, all right, let's pick up a baseball and get on the mound and see if I have some more success there.
seemed to work out all right.
Yeah, not a bad choice. What about some barbecue spots? Like, if I'm sure that it's probably a lot of local spots, but is there a couple that if I'm ever going down there and you're like, hey, if you're driving to Texas, you got to go to this place, you just do it. Where would you say?
Yep. Yeah, Pinkerton's in Houston is incredible, and Pecan Lodge in Dallas, incredible. Yeah,
Okay,
either
let me
one of
just,
those. There's another one in Austin that I'm blanking on. They're both going to be the top. Like when you get to either Houston, Dallas, or Austin, just Google like barbecue. The first one is the first one for a reason. Like just go hit it up.
Just go hit
Perfect.
it up.
Okay,
Trust
well,
the reviews then.
We have a road trip, Max.
Yeah.
Max, you had one here.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Ross? This is kind of funny, right? Obviously, we have the pleasure of talking to you a couple times throughout the season here, and this is a common theme that I noticed watching most of the broadcasts. And when it's brought up your name, it's interesting guy, diverse, articulate person. They use a lot of big words to describe you. And again, we obviously can vouch for that, having the great conversations we get to with you. But I mean, obviously being in the public spotlight, pitching for Canada's baseball team, that's what you do. You love baseball. It's a big part of who you are, but it's not who you are. What are some of the things outside of baseball and podcasting that you would say make up Ross Stripling, the person?
Outside of riding your horse to school and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, great question. Really good question. I'm a father now. My son is 6 months old. So the last time I would have talked to you guys, it would have been like 3 months old. Yeah. And they are, as of now, not planning on coming to Toronto. So I got to see them in Anaheim. So just kind of soaking up every minute I can get with him up until the off season. That is incredible. That's like one of those things, that until you experience it, you don't understand it. I remember having teammates that had kids, and you're just like, yeah, it's cool. You have a kid, and then you get to have your own kid, and you're like, man, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, it really is, just a little mini me walking around. Other than that, I mean, man, just spending time with family. Growing up in Texas, it's a big state, so I was always a little bit spread out from family. So when you get to be around them, just how special that is. And college football, I'm a proud Texas A&M Aggie, where I think we just came out number 6 or 7 in the polls today. Like, let's go. This might be our year. I don't know how we're going to beat Bama, but it might be the year. I love to travel for sure. I've been very, very lucky. Like, I think if baseball were to end today, I'd love to just spend a year traveling. I've been, like I said, lucky to be able to go to some really cool places: New Zealand, Fiji, the Bahamas, Dubai, London, Amsterdam, Paris. So I've been able to really, really travel, and I think that's what I'm kind of most passionate about as far as I love to be able to see the world, and baseball's kind of giving me that opportunity. So, man, that's a hard question to answer, like right off the spot, like what makes you you? But yeah,
Who
I think,
are you really?
Yeah, who are you? Yeah, I think
Did a
I'm,
very good job
just
answering it, though. Very
a
good.
happy guy that wants to spend time with his family.
You
Nothing wrong
mentioned
with that.
Texas and being very spread apart. Saskatchewan, we're very similar in that way in this province. It's a very tall province. If you look at it on a map, it's really tall, very spread out. We just don't have as much population.
And we draw about 350 strong for our football games, not 42,000.
well, in
but,
high school,
There we go.
our CFL games, our CFL games are a whole different matter now.
That's
That's
right.
the Canadian Football League, Ross. If you ever get a chance, you can go check out the Argos now that you're in Toronto. So last one for you here. We'll end it on a fun note. More fun than we've already been having fun. But a couple weeks ago, we saw Alec Manoah's video go viral of the boys dancing in the locker room. Obviously, a pretty cool locker room. Looked pretty neat. So if a video of Ross Stripling ever went viral, hopefully for a good reason, and it's in the locker room after a win, what's the song that Ross Stripling is dancing to and it goes viral? What's the one that gets you up and going?
Gosh, I'm known for singing, not dancing. I am always singing.
Sorry,
There's
in
no
my
doubt.
notes I said performing. So what's the song you're performing?
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So my go-to in karaoke is Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. I can do that one in my sleep because that was my rookie initiation in the Dodgers, my first big league spring training. Learned the dance and everything. The dance I still don't have, but I can do those lyrics in my sleep, and that's usually a good crowd pleaser. If I'm in Texas, I might bring out some Garth Brooks. But yeah, if I'm in the locker room, man, and you just put on, kind of like a top 40. Like I'm pretty lame in my music choice. Like if you throw in like a Katy Perry banger or a Taylor Swift banger or Justin Bieber banger, like I'm probably gonna sing it kind of loud, like almost like too loud. We like strip, like maybe bring it back a little bit. But I can't help it, man. It happens.
Okay, I gotta see this. I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. We got to see Ross Stripling
Or
go
Firework.
viral.
I mean,
Firework,
right? That's
Roar.
a good one after
Roar's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll have to try to pull some strings and get a Ross Stripling video in the near future. Okay, Ross, we're gonna let you go because we know you're on the road. We want to let you get your beauty sleep. So thanks again for checking in with us. Hopefully we can do this again because this is always a good time. Hopefully your road to recovery is a speedy one. So look forward to seeing you back on the bump soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks
All
a ton, Ross.
That, of course, was Ross Stripling. Man, every time.
Just
every
fantastic
time, anytime,
conversations,
all
man.
the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guy's a stud on the mound and a stud conversationalist. Look at that, hey?
Yeah, I hope, again, like you mentioned with the kids, 2 kids here, I totally get
I was going to say that hit your heartstring for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
pulled on them a little bit.
Hit your heartstring more than a T Swift song?
A little bit more, yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
What about Love Story?
Take her. Well, I like her old stuff.
Oh, you like her?
I like Taylor
You like
Swift.
the classics?
Yeah, I like the classics.
The classics.
I like Taylor Swift before it was cool.
That's right. You saw her coming before anybody else did.
Yeah, totally.
Gotcha.
Of course, our video guests, as always, are brought to you by the amazing team over at iksmedia.com. Well, that's their website, but the business isn't .com. You know what I'm talking about. IKS is your premier destination for event planning, live broadcasts and entertainment, video screens, and a whole lot more. These guys are awesome. They just did a concert series over at Wascana Lake, Shake the Lake. They're doing Queen City X, so all the concerts at Queen City X are going to be
busy
producing those. Their guys are all over the place. The Pats season's coming up. That's all under their umbrella.
All sorts
as well.
of good things coming up.
Going to be a lot of stuff.
That's good to
now
have.
that live events are coming back, man, it just feels good to just like even going to the Rider game the other day, just being out there and
I'm very excited to go to the Pats games this year. I got to be honest, right? Having the opportunity to see Connor Bedard, who you guys just had on the Rod Peterson show today. Man, oh man, I'm super excited to see.
Did you watch the interview fully?
I didn't have a chance to catch the full interview. I was doing this thing called working.
Oh
yes.
We were laughing though during the interview, and I'll just tell this before we go to commercial break. Connor Bedard, 17-year-old hockey phenom, right? Of course, everybody.
Just turned 17 or still 16?
He might still be 16, but he's in that age group. He's going to be 17.
Had to fact check.
He's sorry. No, he's 16 because he's draft eligible next year. Not even this year. 2023.
The following year.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's just 16. Yes. So he comes on and Rod says, Connor, it's been a busy summer for you. You've been training a lot of hockey. Well, how's your summer been? Just tell us about your summer. He's like, I've been rollerblading a lot because he's in a rollerblade hockey league with Ken Johnson, 5th overall pick. They're on the same team.
Not a bad way to spend the summer.
So he's like, I've been rollerblading. A lot of hockey, a lot of on-ice training, a lot of training. How's your summer been, Rod? We all just started laughing like this 16-year-old kid.
But just
how's your summer been, Rod?
Again, though, fits into that prototypical polite, well-raised young man that you wouldn't know that if he had the weight of the world on his shoulders, right? He's not the prodigal son of a junior hockey team. He's just Connor Bedard, the 16-year-old, awesome. And he loves playing hockey. Yeah. And that's awesome to have a moment like that.
You're gonna have to check out the interview because the whole thing was awesome.
Absolutely.
But that was just a real wholesome moment at the beginning. How was your summer?
Of course, that's excellent.
Anyways, we're gonna take a break. After the break, are we getting into the Bluebird block, or are we gonna get into the fictional player hockey
it's kind
draft?
of a pick 'em.
Yeah, we're only gonna do one more segment, so this is our last break of the night. So when we come back, 2.5 minutes from now, we'll do a whole bunch of stuff.
For 45 minutes straight.
Jordan won't be happy about that. Actually, you know what? That's not bad. We're on a good pace right now. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. IKS Live, the proud producer of The Rod Peterson Show and The Recovery Hour. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
All right, we're back. Me and Max was having a great chat in the commercial break, and we're doing some research for the ultimate fictional movie hockey team.
Draft.
So
Draft.
ultimate fictional hockey movie.
UFHMD.
Sure,
UFHMD.
close.
Yeah.
Enough.
Good.
Fictional. Yeah. So yeah. So we're gonna do that. I think next break. But
I
that's
thought you said we weren't having another break, man. You're
sorry.
lying to
Next
people.
section of
Come
talking.
on,
We're gonna do the
man.
Bluebird block now because we're talking Blue Jays. Me and Max just had a great talk in the break about obviously our chat with Ross Stripling just now. Again, thank you to Ross for hanging out for a little bit
Absolutely.
tonight. Always appreciate that. Some comments. Sheridan Davis just said that was a great interview. Sheridan, thank you. Sheridan, I was gonna ask your question. You said, how many beers does Ross drink after he wins a game? I was like, you know what? Not feeling the vibe of that one, Sheridan.
That maybe is for the after hours program. That's Squad After Dark.
That's the Great
material.
Western Original
We'll get
16.
Ross in the offseason. We'll send him a case of
Yes,
Original 16.
there we go. Now we're talking.
Get him on some Canadian beer, and then that'll work.
Yeah. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, you need a bank loan to see the Regina Pats this year, I hear. Yeah. Did you hear about this, Max? They raised their season ticket prices in quite a bit.
Well, I'm not paying for seasons. I'll go the individual.
Yeah,
games,
we'll go to
though.
a couple games.
We'll go to a couple.
Janelle Barkman says, a Katy Perry banger. This guy is my new favorite player.
Right?
So I should have read
How
that.
do you not listen to that interview and Ross all of a sudden just elevates
Yeah,
like
everybody
50
likes
spots
him
in,
better.
in your favorite player ranking?
He's
just,
right up there.
Yeah.
John
Ross
Ohm
will
is
like
saying,
that.
I'm really liking the home run jacket of the Jays. And I like how much they use it, John. That's the other part of it. They've been using it a lot lately. I love the other night where it's like it was a close game, and then Springer hit one, Teo hit one, Semyon hit one, and Dickerson hit one, or whatever that was the other night.
Yeah, that's right. There was a.
yeah.
It was a.
Dickerson. I like Dickerson's swing, by the way. Just a
I know.
small note.
Yeah.
Jackson. Sorry, Jackson. Jackson Seal said, "Would you rather have had? What would you rather have? A 5 or a 6 man rotation?" We kind of got that one in, so that's good. But anyways, we'll get back to the Bluebird block here, brought to you by our friends over at RBI Baseball here in Regina. Baseball and softball, I should say. Joey Votto got his 2,000 hit today. We talked about it earlier. Awesome job for a Canadian kid from Etobicoke, Ontario. Is it? I think it's the K is silent.
Like Edabaki or something, isn't it? It's like
no,
a weird
you said it right, but I think the K is silent.
Etobicoke?
I think it's Etobicoke.
Maybe you'll just
we
have
have
to
some
get
Ontario viewers.
Ontario viewers. Get Joey on the show, and then we'll ask him.
right. Ontario viewers, please chime in and let us know.
Homework for the week.
How do you pronounce Etobicoke? I think it's.
He's not going to be in high demand after getting 2,000 hits. Like we could probably get him on the show.
Yeah, Joey will pop on, no problem. He's just going to jump on with us. I'm just going to open because I know that Craig Ballard likes to watch on our Twitter feed. So I'm just going to open that just to make sure I don't miss anything from him. I might have already missed something from him, but. Just shout out to Joey Votto. Teoscar time, stud, contract extension, AL Player of the Week. That's the headline for the topic. So Teoscar's been on fire, 3 for 4 the last 2 games.
Whoever writes this show does a really good job.
Yeah, totally. You said he had 3 home runs the other night, or just in the last couple of games?
3 knocks.
3 knocks, yeah.
He did have 3 on the week, though. 3 home runs, 10 ribbies.
AL Player of the Week leads the Blue Jays 3rd in a row, which is unbelievable.
Another guy we forgot to mention going through the lineup that deserves some praise?
Yes.
Randall Grichik.
Yep. And
Randall Grichik has had a very good season.
We didn't say Gurriel. We didn't say
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Reese McGuire's been hitting the ball real well.
Yeah, we didn't even say Dickerson. I mean, that's
1 through 9.
That's kind of the point, though. Is that there's just
too many to name. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
it's a good problem.
So, anyways, Teoscar, we talked about him in the past. I believe in the offseason, when we were still talking about offseason topics, we posted a clip, Teoscar, what should his next contract look like? We were saying at that time he should potentially be in the Jose Bautista conversation. 5 years, $60 million, 12 a year. I think he's elevated himself above that now at this point.
I would say so, especially after Randall Grichik's number as well, too. I want to say Randall came in at that 5-year, $60 million range as well, almost an identical one.
I think he's at 12 and a half, so that makes a lot of sense.
So, just above that anyways. But what Teoscar Hernandez is doing, you already said the stats earlier in the show, right? 162-game pace, over a 300 average, 40 bombs,
Silver Slugger last year. He's probably going to be another one this year, and he missed part of the season.
And that was the thing, right? It was, how are we going to hand out a contract, I guess, or at least a long-term one based on the results of a 60-game season? Well, he's clearly proved that he can handle that bat over 162 games, and it's just incredible to watch, right? He's that beacon of calm. He's that guy that, you know what, if Vladdy's going in a bit of a slump, Teo, no worries, Vladdy, I got you. And it doesn't have to be the big bomb all the time. He's just places the ball elegantly all over the field. No matter, I like it.
Elegant.
I'm in the Taylor Swift mode. Elegantly,
it's graceful.
It's graceful.
It has an elegant grace to it.
But he took the knocks on him early in his career, and he's found a way to redefine himself as a hitter. And it takes time in the big leagues, right? I'm sure if we would have asked Ross that, right, from a pitcher's perspective, it takes you a couple hundred innings to really get your feet wet.
Well, we kind of did ask him that. Remember I said, is there like a magic number in terms of starts to kind of really feel like you've made it?
Exactly.
And he said, not really.
Not really, right?
Not really.
Depending on the guy, right? But for Teoscar, right? Who knows? Maybe it was
hitting is
2,000 ABs, right? Kind of right around where he's at now. And he's clearly figured it out. And he's still only 27 years of age. 27, 28?
Maybe 28 now, but either way, he's in that 5-year contract kind of window. Like
probably in the Marcus Semien money currently of $18 million a year, 5 years, $90 million.
I'd feel really good about that.
Like I said, Rogers is going to have to sell a lot of cell phones.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is it's
we might
coming
have to
up.
Switch our plans.
It's coming. Well, mate, just to support the boys.
Just to support the boys.
Yeah, we might have to do that for sure. It's coming up on time where they're going to have to make some serious decisions, though. Yeah. And I think Teoscar's got to be in the plans. He's in that window where you said he's not over the hump yet, and that's where we were talking last week about Marcus Semien. What does his extension look like? Is it a 2, 3, 4-year deal? What are we talking about there? Vladdy and Bo come to mind because they're due for those big extensions probably coming up. And again, we talk about this every time we talk about their big extensions. The money won't come for a few years. So it's not like if they give him a $300 million contract, which is possible legitimately for Bo and Vladdy. It's not. They're not going to see $30 million a year until year 5, 6, 7, somewhere down there.
Coming up on a time, to borrow the words of Eugene Melnick, and paraphrase a little bit.
Eugene Melnyk.
We are coming up on an unprecedented window of investment.
Wow.
From Rogers in terms of this
Not
baseball
often
team.
we pull out a Eugene Melnyk
I know, right? I had to
reference.
paraphrase because this one was a little bit, and I mean, the Blue Jays are experiencing a little bit more success. Regardless,
Yeah.
I digress.
So let's get this out of the way, just because it's a very small note, and I want to talk about the next topic. The Blue Jays went out and acquired Mallex Smith. Mallex Smith. So for those listening, it's Mallex. Mallex. It's a cool first
Second
name.
L's not silent.
Right. Yes. No, it is
Okay.
actually. He's a speedy outfielder. His average it's 230-ish, somewhere in there.
Had a couple of good seasons, though, sandwiched in between that where he hit 262.
Yeah,
So
a couple good seasons. Again, kind of a speedy defensive outfielder, can steal some bases if he
He's
gets
had
on
some
base.
injuries.
Pinch runner, and those come in handy, especially late in games.
yeah, I heard
Pinch runners,
fast guys are good to have on the base
not
pass.
bad. We've seen our new favorite player, Breivik Valera, come out of nowhere. He's been pinch running a little bit. So if you get a guy like Mallex Smith who can come in and just kind of, do. Dalton Pompey did that a bunch of years ago.
Yes, he did.
Or he just come in and pinch run, and he always seemed to score. So that's big. If you can get a good pinch runner, that's important. And now he's not going to be eligible for the playoffs because it's after the actual trade deadline. So it's just kind of a flexibility move for down the road. So that's that. But not bad. Anyways, let's talk about down the stretch. 42 games left in the season for the Blue Jays specifically. I've looked at their schedule today. It's all, outside of Washington the next couple days, all AL Central, all AL East. Like it's the Detroit Tigers, the Twins. I think they play who else in the Central? Who else is in the Central? I always struggle with the AL
Cleveland,
Central.
the Royals.
Nope, neither of those teams. Maybe it's just the Tigers and the Twins a lot, and then they play the Yankees.
That's okay. That's a couple teams under 500.
Yeah, the Yankees, the Orioles is what I'm trying to say.
No, they got a big series with the A's coming up as well too.
Oh, yes, the A's are the other one.
They're going to need to find a way to win that series.
A's feel like an AL Central team to me. Anyways, but then the Rays. So they have 7 games against the Yankees, 6 against the Rays, and I want to say 8 or 9 against the Orioles.
Here's hoping.
Yeah,
I am
there's
tired,
a lot left against the Orioles.
Tired of Red Sox fans saying
No more
well,
against the Red Sox. Not
yeah.
a single game left against Boston.
Which is good, but I'm really hoping Boston doesn't have any more against Baltimore because
I
we
think
can
they're
see a little
over.
bit of an inflation of their
that was the
schedule.
interesting part about the Jays compared to the Yankees and Red Sox. The Yankees and Red Sox played the Orioles a ton in the first half. The Blue Jays played the Orioles a ton in the second half. So they need
to find a way to win those games.
They need to take advantage of those games for sure. So Max, the analytics on the Jays. Now you wrote this, so I should maybe let you read this. But the analytics say that they should be leading the division. They're expected runs for and against type stuff.
Expected wins, not just
Expected
runs.
wins.
Expected wins.
It's all saying that they should be having a better year. Now we've seen a couple of late game struggles, and of course that's well documented.
in the double digits.
Yeah. So they're currently 7.5 back of the division lead, 4.5 of the wild card. They're 4th in all of baseball with run differential, plus 127. That's crazy numbers.
Yeah.
So what do they need to do at the end of this season, 42 games? What do they need to do to sneak into those playoff spots?
They clearly need to be done with the late inning collapses, right? And that's easier said than done. But when it comes to the pieces that were assembled in this bullpen by Ross Atkins, Mark Shapiro, Adam Simber, we've seen him be incredible. He's had a couple of tough outings as of late, but he needs to get back to that incredible level. I'd love to see Julian Merriweather in the back end of this bullpen again. I'd love to see Nate Pearson be ready to go,
Right.
which is
And
going
you
to
have a
lead into
note
the
here.
next point.
Yeah.
But we just need those guys in the back half of the bullpen. And also, too, it's not just on the arms in the bullpen. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, if not even last week. The runs need to be there late in the games as well. It's all fine and dandy when you can win a ball game when you're up 10-2 after the 5th inning. But when you're in those tight games, those 3-2 games, which I still think we had one stolen from us Friday night. Don't know how that happened.
Should ask Ross about that.
Should have.
I'm sure he has an opinion.
I'm sure he does. But again, when it comes to those late inning collapses, they just can't happen anymore. We've blown our 12 mulligans. If you get 12 mulligans in a season, that's pretty good, over 162. But it's just time for things to tighten up a little bit. You got to find a way to win those 4-3 ball games, 3-2. Again, it's great to win 8-3. I love watching 8-3 ball games when the Jays are on the right side
Super
of it.
fun.
But we've seen a lot of those this year, which has led to the positive run differential. But it's those 3-2, 4-3, 5-2, 5-3, whatever low-scoring affair you want to call it. Those have been the issues that have plagued the Blue Jays all season long. So they got to find a way to win those tight games. And obviously, goes without saying, have to find a way to take advantage of the softness in the schedule over these last 42 games. We've talked about some of the opponents. It's crunch time, boys. It's that point where you might have to win 30 of your last 42 currently with how many wins that you have to get into this wild card spot. Like Ross said, he doesn't feel like they've gone on a run as of yet, a true run with the talent level of this team.
Him saying that, like he said,
it does.
They went on a 9-2 homestand over 11 games at home, coming back to Toronto, and he didn't consider that a good run. So I love that attitude.
Based on the talent level.
Yeah.
Now the only question is, again, devil's advocate here, Ross is on the IL. George Springer is day-to-day with, I guess, an ankle sprain. Bo Bichette, I don't think he should have been in that ball game the other day. 0 for 5, 5 Ks. I think that his shin is absolutely killing him, but he's going to go out there and try to help the team win, as Bo Bichette can do at 60% or 100%. It does not matter. So hopefully the injury concerns, again, it's got to be somebody else's turn.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Quick update to a question we had earlier. We put a question out to the fans. How do you pronounce Etobicoke? Darren Slade's checking in. The K is silent, so it is Etobicoke.
Well, all right then.
So thank you, Darren Slade, for confirming me as the right person in this argument.
You didn't even know where he was from.
Okay.
I at least knew where he was from.
John Ohm is saying he's agreeing with you. Two things. The Jays need closing pitching success to win games. Pretty simple.
Jordan Romano's been good.
Now, Jordan Romano has been good. The point that we were talking about, Nate Pearson's coming back, and he's going to add to their flexibility late in games in terms of just a blow-by pitcher. We talked to Craig Ballard about this a couple weeks ago. A guy who can just come out, go, I think it was just Craig's words, balls out and go 100 miles an hour. Nobody can touch my fastball. That's huge.
I also like straight diesel.
Straight diesel?
Straight diesel.
We talk about this, I think, often enough that you guys know our stance on how the Yankees were built for years and how the Royals were built for a few years, where it was as soon as you got to the 7th inning, you weren't scoring another run because they had Kelvin Herrera and David. What was Davis's
Duffy?
first name? Well, Duffy was another one, but Davis. They had a Davis.
Yes.
Yes, agreed. The Yankees.
Wade Davis?
Wade, yes, thank you.
Wade Davis.
The Yankees had Betances and Miller and Chapman, and it's just like you're not scoring a run on those guys. So that's what the Jays. I mean, I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself because Romano's young, Pearson's young, but if you have a couple fireballers, it really makes a difference. That can just come in and change a pace. And even if it's not back to back, even if it's night after night, you get Romano in the 9th one night, and you get Pearson the next night, and then one night maybe Brad Hand comes out, and he's no slouch himself in the 9th
exactly.
inning. He's closed a bunch of games recently, so
there's options there. It's now coming down to execution, right?
Yep.
It's just we're past that point now. With their gimmies are gone.
we need health. We need consistency.
We need consistency. We need those expected wins to turn into actual wins.
Yes, exactly. This is a question we'll end this off on. Anyone know how serious Springer's injury is? Inquiring minds need to know. This is from John Ohm.
Hopefully,
I heard
end of
it was
the
an
week.
ankle, right?
Yeah.
And it's not too bad. I wouldn't expect him to miss more than 1 or 2 series.
I think even sooner than that. We're hopefully going to see him at
Maybe
the
he's
end of the
back
week.
by Toronto.
Hopefully end of the week.
Okay, well, there you go.
So 2 games against Washington.
Let him sit out. Another day off.
Yeah. If it's
Travel
an ankle,
day.
it depends, right? Because that's one of those things where it's, again, it could react differently from day to day. I guess
Right.
at least the report that I heard on the broadcast the following day was that there is no structural damage from the MRI, nothing like that of concern. So, again, here's hoping that's just one of those things that feels better day by day. And, again, with George Springer, though, like, again, this is where it's, you got him for 6 years.
Yep.
I get that you're in a race right now. You got 4.5 games to make up. I do not want them to bring him back any sooner than needed for this season alone. I might be in the minority there, but he does not need to be patrolling center field on a 75% ankle for a year where statistically, what do they have? About a 47% chance of making the playoffs? Again, it might be in the minority there. I don't want to see him back any sooner than 110%. I don't care what the record says.
Just a quick note here. You won't be able to see the comment, but on our Twitter and on our YouTube feed tonight, Cal the Jays fan checked in, and I think he just missed it. He was the question I asked about Vladdy Jr. Cal, I asked your question. Did you miss it?
Cal. You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, so also on YouTube, A-Dog is watching, and A-Dog says, oh my God, Stripling agrees. It is the hardest division in baseball.
100% it is.
There it is.
I told you weeks ago.
Yeah, he told
on
him
Twitter.
weeks ago. Exactly. So there you go. I think that'll do it for the Bluebird block.
That was a good one.
Good Bluebird
That
block.
felt good.
Nice and tight. We didn't have a ton to talk about, but it
Didn't
was
blow it in the 9th.
quality over quantity tonight.
right.
We, as always, is brought to you by our friends over at RBI Baseball and Softball Training here in Regina. It is Saskatchewan's premier baseball training facility. I like the movement tonight, boys. You got some animation going on back there.
Just
I hear
dropped
George,
a sick merch line, the boys at RBI.
Oh yeah,
did, so.
check it out. I think RBI Baseball. They have a website, they have a Facebook, Instagram. You can go check them out all over the place. They got a great Instagram page, so make sure you see that one. And again, if you ever need some baseball training or your kids are looking to take their game to the next level, they got some great coaches over there. They can cater to what your kids need. Great stuff. RBI Baseball, check them out. I think it's time. Jesus, that comes in hot.
That comes in hot.
That didn't have audio the first time they played it. I didn't hear it.
Comes in hot.
It comes in a little hot. Anyways, I think it's time for the nightcap, Max. What do you think?
I'd say so. Crazy not to.
All right, let's crack them open. Great Western. I got the loggers. I got the loggers again tonight. There you go. Good toss. Good toss. Now these, in all honesty, before I open it, I'm gonna preface this by I kicked these completely off the desk earlier in the show. Like I was just like a straight up
sweater as
I've
well.
been playing FIFA 21 a lot. It was a straight up roundhouse kick right in front of
Who's
the
your
net.
guy on FIFA?
Right now, I'm
You're
kind
a
of
Ronaldo guy, aren't you?
no. Straight up, I always go with the English Premier League, but I start with the 4th tier and I work my way up. I get promoted
it's
all
like
the way
Ted
up.
Lasso.
Yeah,
Okay,
sort of.
got it, yeah.
So I actually went out and got.
I've never seen Ted Lasso.
I haven't, but I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Okay. I actually went out and got the 2 Canadian boys, Jonathan David and Alfonso Davies.
Ooh.
So they're my 2 big boys
Good
right
strategy,
now.
Cotton.
Yeah, they're
Good
scoring some
strategy.
big goals for me. Davies is a defenseman. Oh, it didn't go too bad. It's actually not too bad. It settled itself down. Anyways, those are my
Western
2 go-to
nightcap.
boys, and then I work around them and add pieces here and there. But great Western.
Sounds like building.
It's a great Western
It's a
nightcap.
great Western original.
The
16
lager
nightcap.
always goes down smooth. It's a great. You can just drink it anywhere. Like, it's a great.
it Monday?
It's a great drink. Yeah, it's Monday. Starting the week off right.
That's right, 100%.
So our big thing actually comes from us. Now, I don't know if Myron's watching. Oh, he is watching. Myron's here.
Good, Myron,
Myron,
good.
cheers to you, buddy. This is for
Yes.
you. This was your suggestion. Myron says the graphics are on point. Kudos to the workers in the back room. Absolutely. Myron, this is for you, buddy. This was your suggestion last week. Me and Max right now, and I think we agreed, back and forth.
Back and forth draft.
making 2
You get-
lineups.
You get the first pick.
Okay.
Because I had first pick last week. I'm a
This is
gracious
a lot of
person
pressure.
like
I'm
that.
kind of nervous for this.
You should
so
be.
It is the
There's only one right
all-time fictional hockey movie draft. I think that's what we decided to call it. Beer just isn't for breakfast, John Ohm says. And
That's right.
That's true.
Certainly isn't.
I laughed as I sipped that one. Almost choked on live air,
Good
live
stuff.
TV. Anyways, so we are going into this. We have to pick fictional hockey players, 3 forwards. I'm going to say let's just not worry about positions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, positionless hockey.
2 defensemen and 1 goaltender. And we'll go with the head coach as well. I don't mind that idea. So, first pick. This is a lot of pressure. Like, I feel like I'm going to make the wrong choice and everyone's going to laugh at me here. However, I'm going to go through this list here. I have a little list where it's like a cheat list almost.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through that a little bit here as we kind of go. There's so many good options because there's a lot of good hockey movies that are fictional. Again, this doesn't include Miracle. That's real. It doesn't include some of the other ones, like some of the real ones that are documentaries, more or less. This is about the fictional ones. We're
Right.
talking Goon.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking Slapshot. We're talking Youngblood. We're talking the Mighty Ducks. The list goes on and on. So I think if I'm going, leader of my team,
It's
a
already
guy
there.
who we're going to rely on to, be the face of the franchise.
Already typing it.
Do you know who I'm going for?
Possibly.
I'm going to go Reg Dunlop from Slapshot.
Oh, that's not where I was going.
Now,
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to be the highest scoring guy on the ice, but in terms of having a bit of a player coach, having a guy who's going to go out there and fight for your team, he really wants that team to succeed. I think Reg kind of gives you a little bit of everything you want to build a team around. And I think you can
Right.
put guys around him to make him better, and you can squeeze every last drop out of that guy that you can get. So I'm going to go Reg Dunlop. Plus, one of the best movies of all time. You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
I think I missed out on some production with this pick, but I'm happy with the leadership aspect of it. Max, you got pick number
Can't
2.
go wrong with it, man. This is tough. That wasn't. I thought I was going to grab him in the 3rd round.
Did you think that I was going to go somewhere else?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Oh, I think I know where
But
you
you know
thought I
what?
was
It's going to
going.
open up an opportunity for me here. I'm going to go skill. I'm not going to mess around at the top of the draft here. I'm going to go skill.
Okay.
And with that skill, I'm going with Adam Banks, the cake eater. Adam Banksy, centerman, guy that can do it all. I liken him, just when I watch the movies, I think of Matt Barzal when I think of Adam Banks, just in terms of hockey movies and skill. He's got slick hands. Guy's a warrior. Came back from like a basically broken wrist in D2.
And the other thing about Adam is he's changed teams, so he can adjust to different environments.
100%.
And he's got a lot of pressure from his family too, so he's been through.
Plus, his dad's a lawyer, so if my team goes bankrupt, I got a financial bailout.
Producer Ryan Barocco's tuning in. He says, "I am so confused. Did I lose a day of my life? What is going on? SquadCast on a Monday?"
Did.
Ryan, we catered to Ross Stripling of the Toronto Blue Jays. We wanted to have him on live, and he agreed. So we had to do it on
worth
Monday.
moving the show for a day.
I think that's a good one. John Ohm says, Reg, character guy Clark. Wow, Dunlop, the Goons coach, goes first overall.
You got to take age into consideration, though.
I know.
Said,
that's why I said squeeze every last drop.
Yeah, I got
this isn't a long-term fantasy draft. This is
like David Justice, Brad Pitt. I'm going to squeeze every last drop of baseball out of you.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be.
Now, this is interesting because we're going into the second picks now. And
I feel like we're going off the same cheat sheet.
I think we are. I'm gonna go Dean Youngblood.
Oh, that was where I was thinking.
See, like I said, I gotta put some people around Reg Dunlop to help that production really get higher.
Have you seen Youngblood? I know you haven't seen it.
Honestly, I haven't.
I know you haven't.
I know the idea,
I'm pretty sure I mentioned
it. And I kind of feel bad about it. I really do.
You should, because if you haven't seen the movie.
Youngblood was one of the purest goal scorers on any roster of any team in any hockey movie, Max, according to my research.
Did you also scroll down to 2 lines deeper and see that it took him a while to get translated into the next level?
Doesn't matter. He's translated now and he's ready to roll.
All right, well, if we're talking character guys, Reggie Dunlop's up there.
Yep.
No doubt.
Oh.
100%.
Yep.
But if I need a guy to take out your sniper and do it cleanly and do it very politely, very Canadianly, got to go with Dougie Glatt.
Okay.
I got to go with my character guy. I'm taking Dougie Glatt all day, twice on Sunday. He's the guy, the culture builder in my room to really be the rallying point. We all saw what happened at the end of Goon 1. The boys did it for Dougie.
Yep.
The boys are going to do it for Dougie when we line up against you.
Totally. I like it. So that's your pick, Doug Glatt?
You've actually seen that movie, too.
I have.
This is tough.
I'm going to go...
I feel like that's cheating if you haven't seen the movie, at least.
One of the biggest, when you're building a team, they say centerman, top defenseman, and an elite goaltender. I'm going to go back to that defenseman area. And I think I need to shore up the defense a little bit. So I'm going to take Fulton Reed. Fulton Reed's he's physical. He's got that shot, so he can run a power play. He can do a little bit of everything, and he'll basically do whatever you tell him to do as well. He's that kind of player. He's part of the Smash Bros, so he's got that kind of aspect to him, and I think that's going to be really important with guys like Youngblood up front to have that physical aspect on the back end. I think that's really important. So I'm going to go Fulton Reed. I think that's probably a reach at this part in the draft, but I got to go with it.
Might be. I'm a little worried just about how my defensive corps is going to look after this, but I got to go with another skill guy. Have to.
Okay.
Xavier Laflamme.
Oh.
Heavy on Goon.
Yep.
Again, I got my enforcer to take out Dean Youngblood. I also got my guy to protect.
Right,
my
but you're
skill
talking
guy
about, you just bashed me for Youngblood having an issue at translating into the next level. That's what Xavier Laflamme's issue was it not?
Yeah, was. He figured it out by the end of
So did Dean Youngblood.
You haven't seen the movie. You don't know that.
You don't either.
Well, just call it like I see it, my friend.
Hey.
But Xavier Laflamme, we are going to go with a forward-heavy group here. Tons of skill up front. Guy with some character as well, too, and Dougie Glatt. I like how this is shaping up for me. I'm a little worried how my back end's going to look, but you know what? We're going to battle it. We're going to figure it out.
That's fair. We talked about the 3 pillars of a successful franchise. Goaltending is that other one. And there's a few good options out here. But the one that I always go to, that glove hand, Julie the Cat Gaffney. I'm going with Julie the Cat. She has a little bit of everything. She's got that poise. She's got that confidence. She's got the demeanor. She's not afraid to throw down. We talked about this before the show started, Max. She's not afraid to, push a couple guys over if they help her with her pads.
Yeah, over the bench, right?
Over the bench.
Making up scenes as we
Anyways, Gaffney, she's a big game performer, and she is always there. So I'm going to go with Gaffney for my goalie. And again, that leaves a couple really good goalies for you. And I know you had one in mind that you wanted.
It really
so
does.
So I'm going to let you have that.
The problem is I'm going a little niche with this, like I did with 8 Men Out. But we said all-time fictional goalies, correct?
Yeah.
All-time fictional.
Fictional goalies, yes.
With the 4th round selection, Much like my man,
I'm pretty worried here.
UC Saros, I'm going with JC Petit from the McDonald's
the McDonald's commercials. That's off the board. I like that.
That's off the board. Guy didn't. Do you see those commercials? Guy never lets a puck even get near past him.
That's a great pick.
JC Petit.
See, I thought you were going with.
I have a very strong French-Canadian connection.
Yeah, you're right.
I know.
thought you were going with the other French-Canadian
I was going to
guy.
go there. That was another one.
Justin Timberlake.
I got to go with
JC
JC Petit, especially because you already took your goaltender.
Yeah.
So as much as I like what JT, I mean Jacques Lecoq Grande brings to the team, popped out
Jacques
with
Lecoq.
the ketchup.
Yeah.
It's real good. It does not compare to JC Petit stopping pucks for me left, right, center, and sideways. So
That's fair.
That's where I'm going.
That's fair. Let's just check in on some comments here. Wow, that's a cool picks, Max, from the McDonald's commercial. That's John Ohm. Gaffney has a temper problem, Myron says. Takes unnecessary
You
penalties.
got to worry about that sometimes,
if you're talking about taking unnecessary penalties, he picked Doug Glatt with his second overall pick.
Guy can't even skate. He couldn't really take penalties. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So there's a fly going around. here.
There was. That was what I was doing in the Ross Stripling interview. You're like, wait, you have a question? No, I don't.
Yeah, Max threw up his hand 4 times. I'm like, you want to go next? No.
I had 4 questions back to back to back.
Fulton Reed will flourish under Dunlop's guidance, Myron says. I think that's a great point. Better pick that French goalie of the Charleston Chiefs. Now, he was on the list. However, Denny Lemieux, I don't think he put up a ton of great performances.
Great.
And he's kind of from that era of goalies where they didn't, goalies weren't necessarily the best player on the team.
No.
So I think I made a better choice with the more modern Gaffney.
Yeah.
I think she's going to play a little bit more to the style that I prefer for this team.
Yeah, if she plays and doesn't get suspended,
real
you're
team.
right.
Banksy's a great second overall pick. Skill, character.
Gotta
He
go.
wanted to play through an injury in D2. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Myron's all over it. John Ohm says, great pick with the young blood. Okay, so let's move on. I got 2 picks left, I think. I got a forward and a defenseman I got to pick. And I got young blood. I got Dunlop. Now, here's a problem. I'm in a bit of a pickle because we talked about this before. I was going to pick all 3 Hansen brothers as my forwards. Just the 3 Hansen brothers. But I didn't think we'd get many goals that way.
No, probably not.
A couple of elbows.
Heavy
you probably get the
budgeted
elbows.
tinfoil,
A little
too.
Gordie Howe. Our tinfoil budget goes up. I got to pick one of them, though. And I'm going to go with Jeff. I feel like Jeff is a little bit kind of the crazier one. I think he's the younger one of the 3. And I just think, you put him in a lineup, he's going to go Gordie Howe on everybody. He's going to be the guy you just need to go out and wreck people's days. He's going to be that pass that nobody wants to play against. I'm going to go Jeff of the Hansen brothers. That leaves Jack and Steve if you want one, but I got to go with Jeff.
Don't need him.
Okay.
You left my guy on the board that I was pumped. This was my sleeper pick.
Okay.
You talk about a guy back in the 3rd round about maybe reaching a little bit. I think you might have. I think you went with the wrong defenseman
Okay.
from the Mighty Ducks franchise.
Oh, you're going to do this to me? I was going to take him next.
You ever heard of the knuckle puck?
Oh, you're taking Dean Tyler.
Russ
Tyler.
Tyler. You already
Not
picked.
Dean.
Jeez, how's that Great Western going down for you, my friend?
I think when I kicked it off the table, it strengthened it.
Might have strengthened it a little bit. Russ Tyler, inventor
Russ
of the
Tyler.
knuckle puck. Very versatile as well. We saw it. You could play net if you need.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. He's got the weapon, the secret
And do
shot.
the knuckle puck while
And I've got
playing
enough
goal.
skill where his skating ability really doesn't matter.
That's
My
what I'm
guys are
worried
going to
about.
move. Well, like I said, if we're worried about skating ability, I think I'm worried about Fulton a little bit more than I am Russ Tyler.
Fair.
We saw Russ Tyler out on the roller rink. We know
Yep.
the guy's got some jets.
He can move.
But he's also got that knuckle puck, which is a secret weapon that we just absolutely know. It's hard. It's got movement. It's a pitch as a shot in hockey.
Yep.
Good luck stopping it. I'm going with Russ Tyler.
Yep. Now, you might want me to pick Dean Portman here to get the Smash Brothers on my defense. I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to go back to slap shot.
Dean Portman D2 or D3 because he plays 2 different positions. Gotta get
D2.
your scouting report.
D2
Yeah,
would be the
D2 's
guy.
where he's
I'm not
playing.
picking him, though.
That's when he played forward.
I'm picking from Slapshot, Dave Killer Carlson. Again, I need one of those punishers on the back end. I know Dean Portman has that style, but I think he's a little bit undisciplined. I don't think he's a natural hockey player as much as Dave Killer Carlson is. And I think he's going to give me that kind of just big edge. And he's got the name Killer. I mean, you can never go wrong. Killer Kaminsky was a pretty good hockey player back in his day. That's a real person. Can't pick him. So I'm going to go Dave Killer Carlson from Slapshot. And I think I'm going to be happy with that team. So are you happy with your team?
No, because I still have another pick.
Well, then finish it. What do you have left?
Problem is,
forward?
I'm now in the Dean Youngblood territory where I don't know who any of these guys are on D.
See, so that was the problem with me and Max. This is the problem we had with this is that maybe we would have been better off picking a team together. Because yes, we've seen all these movies for the most part. I don't remember. I don't remember every name of all the different players throughout every movie.
Well, I've got a play that I can go to that I'd be fairly happy with, and I think you got to go with Les Averman on the back end.
That's bold.
I think for a culture guy, he might not bring the most skill to the squad, but you just know he's picking up the brews. You just know he's the guy that comes out and the Great Western brews.
That's the best. That's what you want in your last pick.
You
got to
have the guy
who
picking up
buys
the Great
beers.
Westerns before the game. And at the end of the day, too, you need a laugh occasionally from time to time, right? You know what? Sometimes games aren't going to go your way. You need that culture guy in the room that, although Dougie Glatt brings it on a physical level, you need the guy that can get you a good laugh here and there. And to me, it's Mr. Averman. Gotta go with him. He's the guy for my final.
One of the guys on my list that you could have picked, I don't know. Have you ever seen The Tooth Fairy?
Yes.
I didn't see that one. The Rock is in that one. He's a defenseman. His name's Derek Thompson. I thought you might go with that.
The Tooth Fairy?
The Tooth Fairy.
No,
yeah.
I've not seen
He's
that
a hockey player, but he's a
got
tooth
that
fairy.
wrong. And he's a D-man.
He's a D-man.
Wow, I totally missed that. Didn't read my cheat sheet.
Do you want to change your pick?
Well, no.
You got last pick, so I can't make another
pick.
pick, so you go ahead.
Well, I can't do it now.
You can't do that to Les Averman.
I'm
And here's
pretty
the other
happy
thing.
with Les Averman.
If you pick Averman, we might be able to get him on one of our shows.
Possibly. Who knows?
He's that kind of guy.
I do like Les Averman, though. That's, again,
dude.
culture guy that might not. Hey, you know what? He seems like a guy that can make a great first pass, though.
Yeah.
That's all you need out of the back end.
Yeah. So
I'm stacked up front.
John
I feel
Ohm says
great.
the Hanson brothers all have to come together, bro. It's like the Sedines.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Maybe I have
So
to
you're
change
one
my
for
pick.
three? No,
I got
can't
one of them.
change it now.
Well, I don't know if it's. Maybe
Well, you
it's not
should have known
eligible.
that going in with this. I told you that. I said that.
It's true.
I said Brian Burke had to trade the pick for both the Sedines.
Had to get both.
Well, you didn't pick all three, so
Well, okay.
you're
I'm
only
gonna go
getting
with
a
it.
third of the quality out of the Hanson.
It's true.
I'm winning this one.
I'm going to stick with it. I think the problem with the Hanson line was that they were all on the same line and they were all off the ice at the same time. So if you put one of them on the ice at once, maybe they are more productive of players. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, though. I feel like that's that brother connection where if you don't have that out
they're
there,
lost.
They're lost completely, right? It's just not there. So
That could be
that's
it.
my opinion on the Hansons. I
Myron
don't know.
says, I think Max wins 4-2 in a 7-game series. Clark's boys can't outgoon all the skill on Max's team.
No, can't do it.
I got
You're
a
gonna
lot of physicality
You're going
on
to take
mine.
too many penalties. Dougie Glatt's going to go stand in front of the net on the power play, too. He's going to be tipping knuckle pucks left, right, and center. I think I'm winning the series in 5.
Janelle.
Thank you, Myron.
Janelle
Appreciate it.
Barkman. I've never seen Slapshot.
Janelle.
I mean, that's Janelle. That might be worse than Elias last week not seeing Sandlot, but he's younger, so that makes sense. The movie came out way before Elias was even
Janelle.
born. Janelle, that's a
Slap shot.
It's a must watch.
Janelle, you now have homework.
a
Like
must-watch.
within the next 24 hours. It's got to be.
John Ohm says, sorry, Clark. Max has a great point on the Hansons.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. Hey,
I might be in trouble.
Which is funny, right? Because you come from the richest scouting department in the league.
Yeah.
With all the wealth and just apparently not a lot of knowledge. So that's fine. I'm very happy to take this draft. I feel great about my team.
I'm going full Boston Bruins, full Broad Street Bullies, full...
I was going to say, you got a lot of grit there.
Dean Youngblood better score 95 goals.
Jeff Hansen and, I was going to say Dean Youngblood. Ooh,
Reg Dunlop's got to pick up his slack a little bit, I think. But
Man,
I don't know,
Xavier
I'm okay with it.
Laflamme.
I'm okay with it.
I got Xavier Laflamme in the 3rd round.
Yeah, but again...
You know who else would have been a fantastic pick here, though? Was Gunnar Stahl. You could have gone Gunnar Stahl. We all know how
I
dominant
was this
he
close
was
to
for
going
Iceland.
Gunnar Stahl. And maybe I should have instead of the Hanson to get more production up front.
And you know who didn't get the call? We talk about culture. We talk about a guy that...
Charlie Conway.
Charlie Conway. The guy, one of the
Guy
main...
Germain was one of the most underrated Mighty Ducks at the same time. He was so consistent, always performed.
Jesse Hall, too, was another guy.
Yeah, but he didn't come back.
No, he didn't come back for the year 3. No, he didn't.
No, he left and never
didn't.
came back.
Remember Darren Roanoke?
Yes.
I was
yes.
thinking you were going Darren Roanoke specifically for the Toronto Maple Leafs connection. I thought that you would have had him for
I didn't
sure.
like that movie, though.
You didn't like The Love Guru.
No.
And they say, I don't have a soul.
Oh, I know.
Oh, buddy, come on.
But
you haven't seen Youngblood. You don't like The Love Guru. Going back to baseball last week, you hadn't even seen 2 of my picks, so you didn't even know.
I knew about your picks, though. Like, I knew what they were.
Knew about them and knew them. Are two very
I'm pretty
different
sure
things.
you said 61. I'm pretty sure
It's like when you're doing your scouting report. I knew about these guys. You didn't truly know them, though, and that's why your team sucks, and I'm going to beat you at 4 straight.
Here's the thing about
I'll give you a
Darren
gentleman's
Roanoke.
sweep. It's going to be 4-1.
Here's the thing about Darren Roanoke is that in the movie, the actor plays the player,
Exactly.
and his skating mechanics are awful. So I don't think I trust the guy.
Well, you know,
I know
you guys also
his,
paid David Clarkson 7 years,
Hey,
$35
that's
million
true.
bucks. And,
Different
yeah,
regime. Different regime. It's
Oh,
not
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
different guys now.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not the hard
Been through a
part.
few regimes with not a lot
I was
going
going
to
to say the hard part with the Leafs is we don't have a David Poyle that's been there for 48 years.
That's right. Guy knows his stuff. Don't know what to say about
Yeah,
it. Gets his
he's,
players under contract for a
he's
good
there.
dollar value. You know what's crazy? I was looking this up the other. So Thomas Tatar, 2-year, $9 million deal to go to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Think about this. In 2005, that was Paul Correa's identical contract to go to Nashville.
Man.
He put up 85 points and 76 points. He still
It's
leads the
such a different
franchise.
world.
I know, but
I
but I'm
think
just
back-
thinking though, like when numbers,
Yeah.
it clicks in my head. Freddie Anderson, 2-year, $9 million deal.
Yeah.
He's not going to be nearly worth what Paul Correa was back in 2005.
Yeah, I think back to after the lockout, and I think the salary cap that first year was $39 million, and guys were making $10, $12 million the year before. There were certain guys in the league that I think
24% rollback though.
they got that, and I think other guys had to take bigger pay cuts.
Yeah.
I think guys went from $10 million to like $3 million.
Paul Correa is a genius.
Yeah.
Thinking back on this, do you remember the deal that he had before the lockout?
I don't.
He must have known it was coming. The guy is a genius. I will say this. He's like very fiscally responsible.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Hockey Hall of Famer. I think he still drives the same car that he was driving in 2009.
Yeah.
He
Well,
took
now-
a $1.2 million deal after making $10 million. So when he had his rollback, it was like nothing. Guy
Right.
probably didn't have to pay
Probably
taxes
not.
that year.
Myron says this is a good point about Roanoke. He gets too rattled. If anyone chirps him about his girl, he implodes.
He does implode.
So I think
You know
that's
who
a
we
fine
didn't
point.
pick? We didn't pick coaches.
Oh, let's do that right now. Okay.
So you get the
I get first
back
pick?
to you. Yeah.
So I'm lucky that I have Reg Dunlop already kind of as a player coach.
You do.
So I'm going to go again. Now, you said, or somebody chirped me earlier about having too much goonishness on my team. I'm going back to goon. I got to take my guy. Kim Coates
Yeah.
is the actor. Honestly, I don't remember his name in the movie, but he's the coach in that movie. Great coach, hard-nosed guy. He's gonna give you everything he's got. He's not gonna give up. That's my go-to guy, Kim Coates from Goon. Again, I'm not sure of his name. I feel bad, but
That's tough. Again, your scouting report sucks.
he's a great coach. I got to go with him. Who's your coach? You're gonna go with Gordon?
Is there any other answer? I can't believe you gave me the Minnesota Miracle, man.
I'm giving you him.
Can't.
I wanted my guy, Kim
on
Coates.
a silver
Listen,
platter.
Max,
Call this a sweep. We're finishing this 7-game series in 3 now.
I have been on 2 video chats with Kim Coates. I have to pick Kim Coates. He's my guy.
I've watched all 3 Mighty Ducks movies 46 times.
I agree.
And
So have I.
I've watched season 1 of the new Mighty Ducks Game Changers series.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Bombay has evolved as a coach. It
Here's
took
the
him a
thing.
minute.
I think Game
minute.
Changers turned me off of Gordon Bombay because I feel like A, he lost the love of hockey, and B, when he came back,
found it near the
his
end of the
coaching techniques
season.
would not work for professional hockey. His coaching techniques are to teach 12-year-olds how to pass eggs back and forth. These guys are grown men. You're talking about Gordon Bombay
Then
teaching.
that's great. I want a
You're talking about
culture guy.
Gordon-
He doesn't need
Hold
X's
on.
and O's then.
You
You
talking
don't
about,
need X's and O's.
True, but you're talking about Gordon Bombay teaching Reg Dunlop how to pass eggs
He
back
doesn't
and
have
forth.
to. He's not on his team.
Exactly.
You know who
He's
is
not
on
on my
his
team because I didn't pick him.
Know who is on his team? Adam Banks. We know the guy's going to go through
He
a wall.
needs to
for him.
pass some eggs back and forth.
We got Russ Tyler going to go through a
Needs
wall.
a couple
for him.
eggs.
We got Les Averman going through a wall for Gordon Bombay.
Somebody tie Les
all
Averman
day.
to a net. I think they need that. And plus, you got to tie your little guy to a net because
No, I don't. The guy doesn't give up goals. I automatically won with
Yep.
JC Petit.
Max, that coach pick was your Christmas present from Clark, says John.
It
Ohm.
really was.
I'm telling you, though.
Really was.
I got 2 coaches now. I got Reg Dunlop as a player coach.
You need 2 coaches to go against 5 players?
Apparently, I don't have enough skill on my team.
You
so,
don't.
yeah, I need as much
You
coaching
really
as
don't.
possible.
I did like the Reg Dunlop pick. I liked him in the 3rd round, though. That was a
Producer
reach.
Allen is saying Max wins. That's a pretty big statement from Producer Allen.
I had to come back after last week.
John Ohm says,
had
I'm going to
to.
go play me some baseball and hockey on Xbox after this.
Right.
People are jacked up. That's
right.
Darren Slade, the 2004-2005 season was the lock. Oh, they're talking amongst themselves in the comments. I see what's going on. John Ohm is going to lend Slapshot on DVD to Janelle so she can watch it. She also said, that's more than my mom says my name when I'm in trouble with my mom. So,
Well, she's in trouble with her boys now.
yeah, with your boys.
She's in trouble with her boys
Exactly.
now.
There you go. Janelle, you got to go watch Slapshot.
Janelle, let's just say that it is what runtime on it? $1.50?
Slapshot? It's a pretty
It's a
long
little
movie.
longer,
It's a
actually.
little long, yeah. It's pretty
Two
long.
and a quarter, maybe.
I
Either
don't know if
way,
it's much more than 2,
You will
but-
probably be watching that movie multiple times in your life after watching it the first time. Not safe for children. Let's
No,
just say that.
A lot of nudity.
We'll just say that. Hanrahan. And that's all we have to say about that.
Yeah,
Forrest
there's a
Gump.
lot.
There we go.
Gordy. Anyways, so that's going to do it for our fictional hockey player draft. We'll put up the
I
graphic.
roasted you.
We'll put it up in the graphics, just in the graphics department later this week, and we'll get it out.
Why is I thought what's the nod at me for?
Because you're the graphics department.
Oh, really?
I might do it.
I noticed
I might
my
do
text wasn't answered after saying putting confidence in Photoshop abilities.
I might have some time.
You got to
this week.
take time out of an afternoon to TikTok. So
Wow, that's true. I do have a busy TikTok schedule. I need to put it on TikTok, so that's maybe part of my research
there you
and
go. That's
development.
part of it. Yeah.
Tomorrow on the Rod Peterson Show, we got Canucks and Lions reporter from Vancouver, Jeff Patterson, checking in. It's going to be a good chat. And 3 Down Nations, Justin Dunk, always a good chat.
A lot of interesting stuff to talk about with the Canucks, with the Pedersen
Yeah.
negotiation.
They haven't-
Quinn Hughes.
Quinn-
they
yeah.
just signed Jason Dickinson, though.
The OEL
I like
trade,
that.
the
Yeah.
Connor Garland. They got a lot of stuff.
I like their offseason so far, but they got to get those 2 guys locked up.
Yeah, that's the big one. Next,
Jordan, we have 45 minutes left, right?
Yeah, next week on the SquadCast. Well, eventually we're gonna have to do an off-season recap. We've done it, but we haven't done it.
Every week you've said to me, Max, we've got to do a way too early
Yeah, we gotta
NHL
do a way too early one.
Or NHL
I think we do.
standings projection.
Next week on the SquadCast, way too early Stanley Cup predictions. No, well we might. But next week is Next Level next week? Is that the one we
As
decided?
of right now, yeah, next
24th?
level hockey consulting with
Okay.
potentially a very, very special guest.
Yeah, we're gonna save that one in case something happens and he has to leave. But we'll probably have Kobe Williams, former Regina Pat, current AHLer, and we'll probably have Tristan Fry, who's just signed a deal over in Great Britain, I think it was.
I believe so. Yeah, I'll have to double check with
pro
Tris on
hockey
that,
overseas.
but- Yep.
So that's really cool. Tristan Fry, obviously former SJHL star, played with the U of R Cougars.
Captain
Kobe
of the U
Williams,
of R Cougars.
Right. Kobe Williams, captain of the Regina Pats, drafted by Washington.
I want to talk about leadership and culture, guys.
They're right there.
those
Can
would
I
be the
pick
guys.
Kobe Williams on my team? And Tristan.
I'll take Tris.
Perfect.
I like it.
So anyways, and again, on top of that, another special guest that Max is really excited about. That's all we'll say for now.
Yeah.
Again, just in case something happens and he can't be
We're gonna
here.
knock on the wood
But
wholeheartedly.
I think
for this
that's going to do it for tonight. Max, do you have anything else you want to say?
one. Just that we greatly appreciate everybody that bared with
Absolutely.
us tonight. And I tell you what, man, Ross Stripling, that's a guy that is worth moving a show for. Again, my favorite saying, every day, twice on Monday.
Wow.
That's the guy.
Darren Slade, just to wrap this up, I haven't seen Slapshot either, and I've gotten this far in life, so...
Oh, boy, our finalists have some homework to do, I must say.
You know what? I'll watch Youngblood. You can watch Slapshot.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to watch Youngblood.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Like,
I just don't have
how
enough-
am I that? Well, you know what? I do love movies.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell by my fair skin. I don't.
I
Get
think
out
I
in the
was
sun
too
a
busy
lot,
watching Mighty Ducks as a kid to watch Youngblood. I didn't...
You didn't have to watch it, Clark. There was an interim period.
I know.
where you-
I get it.
Go watch Youngblood.
My dad's checking
Patrick
in.
Swayze's
My dad
in it,
just,
too.
hey, you know what? I'm going to blame my dad. My dad didn't force me to watch Youngblood. We watched Slapshot together.
Dad,
We watched Slapshot together.
Youngblood.
I don't remember watching Youngblood, though.
my
So-
dad never made me watch Youngblood. I had to do it all on my own. Again, scouting report. What's that word? I'm struggling. Ambition.
Right.
Ambition. You got to do it on your
Self-drive.
own.
Self-driven.
Self-drive. Determination.
Yeah.
A
Janelle,
lot
good
of what
night
my
to you as well. She says, good night, my boys.
Night, Janelle.
Thank you, Janelle. Always appreciate it. For everyone tuning in on Twitter, on YouTube tonight, on Facebook, of course, we really appreciate it. On a Monday, again, super weird night for us.
It's a
Next
nice
week,
UC
we're
Soros
back.
graphic.
We're back on Tuesday, so we'll see you then. And for everybody in the back room, producer Alan, director Jordan, director Rolf. Are we calling Rolf a director? What are we calling him? What?
Jordan says hard no on that.
Not director?
He has not been promoted yet.
Sorry, Jordan.
He's not earned his stripes as of yet. It's coming, though, I feel.
Director,
Right? He's on
assistant to the director.
Yeah, we did this last week. Assistant to the
Assistant
director.
to the director.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Rolf,
I like
hopefully
that.
you're an office guy.
TVA, TV assistant. TV
No. The
production assistant.
TVA, if you've seen Loki, which I know you haven't, it's a completely different thing now.
Sorry.
Get on it.
Yeah, I got to watch that.
The TVA is very different.
Darren Slade says, wow, you're throwing your dad under the bus on your own podcast. Well, hey.
That's a power move. That is a power move.
He understands. He's one of those guys who, I'll take this. I'll
Take
the brunt.
accountability. Yep.
Yeah, but he knows deep down that it's not true.
Now you guys aren't going to the Rider game next week. You're sitting
He's not.
watching
He's
Youngblood.
ditching me next week. Hey, do you want to go to the Rider game next week? What are you doing?
I'm at a.
You're at a golf tournament.
I'm at a well, that was this weekend. I'm at a wedding. I'm
wedding.
standing up at a wedding this weekend. Shout out to my very, very lifelong friend, Bradley Sanko,
Hey,
getting
shout
married.
out to Brad. He's watched a show or two.
That's right. Big Ducks fan.
John Ohm says you guys are cut off. Okay.
Good call. Anyway,
Let's get out of here.
cheers to Brad. Cheers to Great Western.
Cheers to everybody. We will see you next week on Tuesday again and tomorrow on the Rod Peterson Show. Bye for now.
See ya.